The field is number 1 Super Elegant at $3, 2 Red Dazzler at $6.20, Dane Rich at $12.20, 4 Minson at $3.10, vying for favouritism with Super Elegant on
the Bletchingly. Set, racing. Oh, one's dumped the rider, Robuchon, going out of the gate. Robuchon dipped and threw the rider off, and one of the first out, Dainrich, bounced in front, taken on by Minson, driving up on the inside. But Dainrich is going to clear Minson. I think he's a length in front of Minson. They're going very hard, and they went very hard early as they come to the turn inside the 600, and it's Dainrich a length in front of Minson, a length for the back, Super Elegant. Red Dazzler outside it from Mind Your Head. They're followed by Snort and Thin and Crispy. They come around the home turn. Minson goes to Dainrich in a stride, a length for the back, Red Dazzler. Super Elegant trying to get out behind those. Further back, Snort, Mind Your Head. Thin and Crispy missed the run. Minson took the lead. Red Dazzler down the middle, coming after Minson. Minson's a length in front of Red Dazzler out in the centre. It's Minson a length in front. He's holding Red Dazzler at bay. Snort getting to third, then Thin and Crispy. 6 for 6 for little Minson. Minson too good. Wins a length and a half to Red Dazzler. 2 away third. I think Snort in front of Thin and Crispy. A gap to Super Elegant, followed by Mind Your Head and Dane Craig knew it.
Simply unbeatable. Minson racks up at 6 victory out of 6 starts and punched out by Craig Williams. And defied the...
thought when they were coming to Caulfield today that about the unbeaten Minson they were going to get $5. Probably because you'd love him.
Well, here's Minson now returning, and Brian, that was...
We get to Minson at the start of that. Craig knew it was having a frightful day up to it. This horse is a terrific story. He's owned and races in... he's owned by a group of Western Bulldog supporters in Melbourne. He races in the Western Bulldogs colours. They went to the footy yesterday because Chris Grant was going to break the record. They went and watched Chris break through the banner. Then they came to Caulfield to watch this horse run. Now, Kenny...
Favourite for this year's Melbourne Cup, Like a Falcon, is out of the great race. The 5-year-old tore a tendon in track work at Coral this morning and will have stem cell surgery to repair a 6-centimetre tear. Like the triple Melbourne Cup winner was last night crowned Australia's champion racehorse for the 2nd time. But all the talk was on who...
Sense of anticipation wasn't so much about who would win Horse of the Year, but rather how the next chapter in Makibi Diva's career will unfold. Owner Tony Santic tight-lipped on which stallion he'll choose for last night crowned Australia's champion racehorse for the 2nd year in a row. Makibi Diva polling 145 of a possible 150 votes, thanks mainly to her history-making 3rd Melbourne Cup. But a champion becomes a legend! Makibi Diva has won it! Makibi Diva also crowned champion stayer, middle distance performer and Australia's most popular racehorse.
I'm not expecting to see...
Mare Makibi Diva has received perhaps her greatest accolade. The triple Melbourne Cup winner was today ranked the world's best racehorse by the World Thoroughbred Racehorse Association. The honour caps an amazing 12 months for the now retired Queen of the Turf. Last month she was in...
Melbourne Cup news during the week, of course. It's not all that far away, frighteningly. We had one of the early favourites, Like a Falcon, is out of the way. And, of course, we had a horse called Yates overseas run himself right into contention.
A little bit more, but running downhill now, and Yates on the outside absolutely cruising up to them. It's Landon Stars with Tungsten Strike and Foreign Affairs fading. Here's Yates on the near side. Mick Canaan hasn't gone for him yet. Further back, Geordie Land is tracking him, followed by Badam on the outside, and they're clear then of cover up. Racing up now inside the 2. He says go on Yates, goes for him, goes to about a length and a half in front. Geordie Land is running on as the danger, followed then by Tungsten Strike. A gap then to Badam. It's Yates over on the far side with a furlong left to go, who lose by 2 lengths to Geordie Land. Tungsten Strike behind them, a long gap. Landon Stars, Broken Night, but Yates, he's 2 or 3 in front and safely holding them. The class horse in the field comes home. It's Yates who goes on to complete the Ascot Gold Cup, Goodwood Cup double. In 2nd then is Geordie.
That was Yates winning the Goodwood Cup in very, very impressive style. Yesterday at Caulfield?
Well, let's put it this way. I think certainly Yates is one of the headlines in the race. I had him at 57.5. He was actually entered last year. He won the Coronation Cup last year. He's won the Ascot Gold Cup and the Goodwood Cup since then, so he's going to have more than 57.5. But
I look and say now is for all you punters out there, go and jump on board and put your house on Yates, because he will get an allotted weight that he will run in the Melbourne Cup this year. Aidan O'Brien has always wanted to bring a horse over to win the Melbourne Cup. You're not going to see a better stay than that this year.
He goes good, doesn't he?
We're
13 minutes away from race 6, and there's been a couple of moves already. Kenny in the betting ring. Backdrafts has firmed a point, but the big go has been for number 10, Court Command. Larry Cassidy looking to make it 2 in a row.
Yeah, only had one start for a win at Wyong. It's a huge...
What about the other one, Anton? Might just want a little bit more time, but Barrier 2 should just get a lovely run back along the speed.
Yes, Antidote's a little bit slowly out of the stalls and drifts back shortly after the jump, and Benjo Man and Gorbachev and Ricky Czar were away well. Wonderful Will, and then backdraft and Antidotes. Pure Energy's burnt off early. She gets well back with Absolutely Fabulous, Trader's Gate, and Casino Princess last and wide. Ricky Czar is the leader coming around the turn, pushing off the fence to go after it quickly as Gold Edition. He just pushed Benjo Man out of the way. Court Command was speared right off the track, and further back My Midi astounded down near the inside, and then came Gorbachev. And further back was Backdraft, but as they get to the 200, it's Gold Edition. The mighty filly raced away from Ricky Czar. My Midi is running on. Further back was Court Command, but inside the 100 now, it's Gold Edition holding the lead. My Midi's a length away, but Gold Edition is pulling out plenty down to the line, and Gold Edition beats My Midi. Photo third, Astounded or Court Command. And then Backdraft and Ricky Czar from Trader's Gate. Then Antidotes and Absolutely Fab Energy, and Wonderful World has finished at the tail of the field.
Yeah, Wonderful World ran right off the track on the home turn. I just good on you, Ron, because she is a racehorse. She's now had 13 starts for 6 wins, and she's won another 78 grand today. And what a filly! $5.70 and $2.10, $4.10 for second, $2.90 for third. The Quinella
preparation. She was on the track as late as June. She's back on the track in early August, and she gave them a beating. She's a very good filly.
Just what in my appraisal of the whole affair was Casino Prince. He obviously had his chance wrecked by Wonderful World, and he went the line quite well. I wouldn't give up on him. Exciting sprinter. Normally after San Domenico, you look at horses, you say Stan Fox Stakes him, Caulfield Guineas. I think our 3-year-olds are pretty ordinary.
Yeah?
Yeah, they don't grab me, and there's nothing I'd take to Melbourne and say, geez, it's going to clean up.
We're going to see the likes of Harada Sun, Miss Finland, Churchill Downs, a host of good 3-year-olds running next week, Vane and Quizette, so we're going to get a good guide on the Melbourne 3-year-old. Feature at Flemington, there's the totes on screen. Look how short Apache Cat is. He's got a cult following, the jock has, D. Oliver. He's come up very short, 3:10, 2:70, 3:10, not that short on course, around 7 to 2, 12 to 1 chance on screen now. Check with
Market mover, Shane, 13.
Market mover Belden Oro. We've been waiting all betting for it. I can tell you though, still rock solid, the one we were just talking about with Jim Collins, Chetwynd.
Second a good line, zipping wide out fairly away with Victory Sweep, Belden Oro and the Blue Jacket down near the inside, and Apache Cat with the big baldy face fast away. General Conclusion began very quickly, heading forward, Valedictum wide out, Chetwynd South behind those with Casual Pass, Gallic and El Segundo. They were being Victory Sweep in front of him. Heading up towards the 650, Belden Oro the fence outside of him, Polar Bear showing plenty of speed. Wider out on the track, Apache Cat on the fence, Casual Pass. Chetwynd South behind those, and the blue cap on the rail is Gallic. They were followed by Gibbono, General's Conclusion, El Segundo inside of them. Then Valedictum, well back is Centaur. Near the tail of the field under pressure is Victory Sweep. Belden Oro shown the persuader. At the 250, he's bounded away. He's 2 lengths in front of Casual Pass. Apache Cat and Polar Bear struggling on, but it's all Belden Oro. He's clear. Apache Cat trying hard. Look at El Segundo wide out flying, but Belden Oro's going to win it. Belden Oro beat the fast finishing El Segundo. A cracking run. Third Apache Cat, and wide out zipping coming late. Victory Sweep not far away from Chetwynd South. Polar Bear ran it.
Right, well rated in front by Newitt. Belden Oro wins the Ori Star, $3.150. Are there some $1.50? Are there some runs in this? El Segundo sensational, Apache Cat fresh, zipping unbelievable, but the winner today was the winner we thought would be the right one. Belch today on the class runners. How far into the spring now will Belden Oro get though? Well, look, I don't know, but
on the fence was a very good run. That's El Segundo swooping to the left of screen in the red colours. He was getting caught up behind General Conclusion and Chetwynd South back there in the gold colours, gold sleeves, sorry, the blue cap. And you can see zipping down the outside, finishing race off very well.
Victory sweep inside of him.
It's open and they're off and racing, and Matani from the inside, the first to come out of the gates. Now, Ada Vale Hornet is stoked up in the early part, and so is Harbour Magic, and they put a bit of speed on Matani early. Bicky Tin Blues is getting over on the outside from Crime Wave, sneaking the bill. Matani at the 500 clear. Here comes Bicky. Bicky Tin Blues has gone up on the fence to second and will chase the leader around the turn. It's Matani by 2. Bicky Tin Blues second, and they've dropped off the rest, followed by Ada Vale Hornet. Matani leads 300 metres to go, but have a look at Bicky. Is this a working gallop or is this a fair dinkum race? It's a barrier trial. Bicky Tin Blues under a throttle hold. He's shot away by 3. Matani, Ada Vale Hornet. Is this Kingston Town or Bicky Tin Blues? It's Bicky Tin Blues. I've never seen a horse improve this much in my whole broadcasting career. It won by 10. Matani is second. Ada Vale Hornet is third, then Crime Wave. I've never seen a horse improve that much in my whole life.
picked up 32,000 for that. Bicky Tin Blues, he's 8. He's won his last 4, and that was just embarrassing. Bicky Tin Blues, look at him there. He pays
around down here. Hang on. You heard Alan Thomas's graphic call there yesterday, so after the race...
Is this Kingston Town or something to
Lately
that?
matures.
Lately matures.
He's 8. Hang on. He said he hasn't seen anything like that since Kingston Town or take win as easily like in a hard hell like that.
I think
now, Matani did win a open class, as he said there before.
I think he's starting to live in the past hour, Al. I think you'll next
He's watched too many Remember When.
I think he'll be up in the broadcast box in his pyjamas doing a puzzle.
Well, let me tell you, he's one of the best judges in Australia. So he's about to prove you wrong. I reckon. We'll see.
The win was
remember
incredible.
Incredible. Remember Rosden?
Oh, look, you're going to bring up
Was incredible.
Remember Rosden?
Oh, look, you're going to bring up
boys, they're going to aim towards the Newcastle Cup and the Metrop, and you can't go against Brian Smith. He's such a leading trainer.
Feature race here this afternoon. The Bankstown Sports Club Premier Stakes, the Group 2 over 1,200 metres, and we'll have a look through some of these runners for you. Now, Paratroopers, of course, has remained as the fairly short-priced favourite, paying himself up.
For the Bankstown Sports Club Premier Stakes. And missing the start, Barberton excites going back to second last, and Paratroopers began very quickly. Fumble goes up on the outside and shades it now. Bosses going forward on Regal Cheer. Then came the Free Stater and Max Chuking hard. Goes up on the outside to attack for the lead here. Paratroopers not surrendering the inside button. Fumble between that pair. A couple of lengths to Max Tune and the Free Stater. Nemesis midfield on the rail from Amana. 2 lengths to Excites. And then Binding, which is off the bit. Johann's Toy is starting a run, and Barberton is back with them as they make the turn, and Regal Cheer found its way over onto the rail. Fumble comes up the outside, and Paratroopers is stalking them. He's got them under surveillance, Beedman. He's about to let it rip, but it's Regal Cheer in front at the 300. Paratroopers a length away going after it, and they're clear from Amana running a race the outside. Paratroopers has taken the lead from Regal Cheer. Amana was next from her sights. It's the favourite. Paratroopers in front. Amana's a neck away. Paratroopers is clinging on as they draw to the line. Paratroopers fell in to score. Amana second, maybe Johann's Toy third, and then Excites on the outside, followed by the Free Stater and Max Tune and Regal Cheer. Then came Fumble and Nemesis, followed by Binding.
$6 for Amana for the place. Johann's Toy $3.70.
It's on the out.
I was talking to Simon off here, and I sort of agree with him. I think Bossy had the pip that he was trapped 3 deep, and they weren't going to let him in. Beedman just kept kicking up enough, and Fumble, not in their class, but with natural speed. He then said, well, players, I'm going to cross you and lead. And when he crossed, he then pulled up in their face. And you just can't do that at the 600. You know, it's not, it might have been a touch disappointing. In hindsight, he wasn't. He was used up, still lost that length, good length over at the 600. Amana was within the length of him at the top of the straight. She didn't pull 3 lengths off him or anything. And he kept fighting without being punished to beat her. Guy Waters runs 2nd, 3rd and 4th with Amana, Johann's Toy and Excites. All good runs. If they'd done
to the Rose, of course, the lead up to the Golden Rose for the 3-year-olds. They're racing today over 1,300 metres. And Kenny, the top weight mentality, carrying the 61 kgs.
Yeah, it scares me off Caroline, to be honest, but I still think he's got a great chance. Metres is a nice distance for him. Johnny Hawkes, Darren Beedman, I just think what there's been a stack full of money for mentality for the John Hawke stable. 61 kilos and all.
Racing. And coming out quickly, Old Opry with Bon Kerr, who began quickly today. Bon Kerr's got his head in front of Old Opry in the first 100 metres from Universal Queen. Lightning Glance up on the outside, trapped a little bit wide, and he's pressing quarters. Getting a pretty easy run, leading from Lightning Glance. Bon Kerr on the rail is third. Universal Queen fourth, one off the rail a half a length away. Then Is Tosho. Boss has got the stick out on Empire's Choice, and further back behind them, next gate. Mentality about 6 off the lead from Bomber Command, Catachuchu, and Keep the Message. Old Opry brings them for home. Leads from Lightning Glance. Bon Kerr shifted out and pushed Universal Queen out of the way. And then He's No Paida. Mentality coming down the outside. Lightning Glance got up outside Old Opry as they get inside the 300. Bon Kerr looms up the outside and He's No Paida. Mentality still makes ground the outside from Catachuchu. It's He's No Paida and Bon Kerr. Mentality trying to grind them down. It's Bon Kerr putting its head in front. He's No Paida kicks back the inside and Mentality. 3 stretched across the track. Leave it to the judge. He's No Pie to the inside. Bon Kerr and Mentality. 3 of them across the track. Lightning Glance was next from in behind them. Next,
Just as I was going to call Bon Kerr the winner in the middle. Cassidy lifted He's No Pie on the rails. G-Strong with the whip and me outside. He's No Pie right over on the rails. And between them, Bon Kerr. Now there's the photo, and the one out deep is going to get it. I think I can't see with a blurred vision the one on the inside. Mentality, gee whiz, they did bet $5.50 on course, $3.10 He's No Pie, $2.30.
61 and all. How are they going to beat him in the Golden Rose? He's No Pie and Bon Kerr. Bomber Command there, and Empire's Choice had little luck in the run to the line, Kenny.
Well, it's appropriate that He's No Pie has run second, because early in his career I thought Mentality was a bit of a pie eater. He ran a few placings here, went to Melbourne, he was just a second tier horse. All of a sudden in the value they rode him back in the field and he went bang. He won the Champagne Stakes Group 1 and he's come out and won that with 61. Now, OK, what's the opposition like? It's just about the best group of 3-year-olds we can put together in Sydney, so the opposition was pretty good. We didn't have Excites there, we had the rest. He carried 61 and beat them. Johnny Hawkes is going to have plenty of fun with him in the next few weeks in the Golden Rose, the Stan Fox. No doubt he'll finish in Melbourne at the Caulfield Guineas.
Empire's Choice, you can follow from that race as well, might be heading towards Melbourne. But
brilliant winner.
For the Quisette Stakes, Brendan, and Phillies Quisette Stakes, $8 Delago missed, shorter on course, 320 Nadim's Glow is a 380 chance. 10 Olivia Moore, look at that, 280, 370, 260 at the 2-1 on course. Saturn at Caulfield, the Quisette Stakes.
Bella wide out and Nadim's Glow jumped away fairly well. La Via Moore and Stings in the green, the grey going fast. Rastia trailing up on the fence, a length away Delago Miss Yulfa. Saturn Robes 2 away last. Saturn Robes brought up the rear. Coming up towards the 550 metres mark, Rastia the inside and Stings with Archie Bella launching 3 wide, a length away La Via Moore. Nolan just trying to get around the 3 leaders and he's done exactly that. He's pushed Callow wide on Nadim's Glow. Flame of Sydney next. Yulfa pinching runs up on the fence from Delago Mist and Saturn Robes to the extreme outside the race right on. La Via Moore at the 300 in front of Nadim's Glow. Flame of Sydney, Delago Mist and Saturn Robes down the centre. La Via Moore, Saturn Robes coming down the centre. Nadim's Glow the centre. Nadim's Glow, La Via Moore. Nadim's Glow, La Via Moore. La Via Moore off the canvas, kicks, I think wins. La Via Moore just from Nadim's Glow. Saturn Robes or Delago Mist third in a photo. Behind those is Flame of Sydney, Archie Bella. Yulfa next in from Stings and Rastia.
40 and 140, $5 taken yesterday. Nadim's Glow every chance. All for
race 4 at Caulfield, number 6, La Via Moore paid $3.40 and $1.40 to play.
King on board. She peels off some great sectionals, and she is one to watch for the future, that's for sure. La Via Moore, she's had 2 runs this time back in. She's still learning what it's all about. She's as green as the grass she's running on, but by gee, she's got a ticker and she has a crack. Race fitness, told towards the end. Nadim's Glow on the outside, the filly that ran second, who I've got a big opinion of. I just think right here, right now,
has been the market mover. 7.26, 90, 10.50. 5.50 was the TAB Sports Grip price yesterday, into under 4-1, so those totes are terrific across the country. It is the market mover. Well tried early. Totes, that's about right. Down to Shark Bite. Now, this was the one that was $31 into 13 on the fixed odds yesterday. 6.30 on the totes.
It's out to 750 on course. Snort in the betting and so too, right in the bottom. 15 Harada Sun, 570, 410 and 470. It's around 11 to 2 chance on course.
If anyone's recently joined us and aren't aware of it, in race 6, horse number 1, Lad of the Manor, a late scratching.
As well, they're racing. And Cap Hero came out of the gate very quickly with feedback. Nod and Harada Sun began well, but he's drifting back. Shark Bite pushes on. Cap Hero leads the way. Churchill Downs going up with feedback. Snort. In came Dan Ever getting back from Harada Sun. Noon Leash, Green Birdie and 2 lengths away Conformator. Cap Hero with his mouth ajar at the 600 wants to go faster from Snort and Churchill Downs going up. 2 lengths away Shark Bite, then feedback. A length and a half to the 1, just getting a little green on that bend. Snorts rather nods very wide out, and further back Tipping Woody on the fence as they turn. Then came Dan Ever and well back at Radisson. Up the home running Churchill Downs after Cap Hero. Shark Bite chimes in. Further out on the track, feedback the 1 and a Radisson down the centre. Snort back to the rail. Here's Shark Bite going after the leader Churchill Downs. Radisson with a Burnborough-like run. What a horse! Radisson bursting on the scene. Takes the lead and that's a mighty win. And Mashra Willer loves it. He goes on to beat Shark Bite and Churchill Downs third. Green Bodie and Eyecatcher. They were followed by Dan Ever. Then came the 1 behind those toe to the field Conformator in company with Flush Revette.
Well, they've been talking him down, Harada Sun. We'll start talking him up. This is some horse. He's come off a Swan Hill maiden. He's absolutely brained a top-class field here, as soft as you'll get for a horse coming off a maiden. Harada Sun, the half-brother to Elstrom. Could he be better? Well, what we've seen so far, Brendan, he is. They run 1-3-5-1. In the fillies division this afternoon, they ran 1-4-3-4, a second faster, virtually. He's also looking down the outside here. Shark Bite looked home. Churchill Downs was good 3 wide on the pace. But have a look at this. This is some horse.
Bruce, this is a red letter day, August 19, 2006. You have just seen a horse emerge as a future star of the racing world. Delighted with that performance, and so too will Frank Tagg and Bruce.
Over the last few weeks, probably Nash has had more of an association with the horse than he had previously, but we both knew that he was a very special horse. Could it all be happening again? You know, I mean, you just try to... I mean, we've both been very fortunate to have had the associationship with Elstrom, who was just a fantastic horse, and we were so lucky and enjoyed the whole... Yeah, he certainly looks... Potentially, he looks anything.
Congratulations. Look forward to seeing him perhaps Cox Plate Day.
One run at a time, mate.
Footy coach, study.
The whole race. What do you say? You just shouldn't be doing this over 100.
He's got what they're carried away, are we?
I don't think so, Bruce. Look, every so often, like, I can get carried away as easily as the best of them, but every so often there's a performance, particularly the way the leaders seem to be travelling. I said, how's this horse going to come from 6 or 7 lengths off them? And as soon as he started to come, Goodnight Nurse, it was all over.
Horse, the Boom Horse, with his own website already, Harada Sun.
Fight going after the leader, Churchill Downs. Radisson with a Burnborough-like run. What a horse! Radisson bursting on the scene. Takes the lead, and that's a mighty win. And Mashra Willer loves it. He goes on to beat Shark Bite and Churchill.
He's only won a maiden at Swan Hill. He's a half-brother to Elstrom. Believe it or not, he's $41 into $11. Fourth pick for the Cox Plate. Shark Bite's a good horse. It ran second. Churchill Downs a good horse. It ran third. And Harada Sun made them look virtually second rate. Simon, just your overview of the performance.
Bruce, it was a terrific performance, phenomenal performance, due to the fact that the horse relaxed early. There was great speed up front, as we can see Capiro, Snort and Churchill Downs as we roll the tape rolling forward. He's got a peel 4 and 5 deep, go to the complete outside, which is losing ground here, but Nash is just, he's very patient, and I like the way that he gave the horse every opportunity to balance up and then say, OK, we're going to, from the top of the straight, really rip home here and hit the line running. And the way this horse picks him up and puts him down, you cannot help but say he is a future star of the racing.
And if you're worried about how far he can go, his mum, who...
Did you go to the races thinking this horse would win yesterday? Really? I was a bit concerned when Jude Sasso came out, because I thought that might have taken a little bit of speed out of the race. But still, I honestly, I said to some close friends around me that this horse will be screaming home, and it's a big task for him to come from way back where we intended to ride him. But I also added that I wouldn't be surprised if he got up. This is so similar in his mental
application towards the whole deal to Ulstrom. It's uncanny. Very similar.
Check 3 deep facing the breeze.
If I had shark bite, you know what I'd do? Bring him to Sydney, just take the million, the Golden Rose. But something out of that race could win the Golden Rose.
Yeah, I agree with that. You're probably right.
It's Group 2. JJ Liston Stakes, robbed by the scratching of Lad of the Manor, last year's winner. There's the new market. Minson, $1.90 on Super Tab, $2.50 and $2.60. That New South Wales quotes what's happening here on course. Under double figures, De Beers opened up much shorter than we thought on course. Thin and Crispy, horse 10 around the 10 to 1 mark. And you can see, as we show the totes, you'll see it's $11.90 and maybe better. Right in the betting, $7.20 short.
Minson, the favourite at $2.30 over maybe better at $6. The late scratching number 1, Lad of the Manor, who kicked a rail in the walking yard. So
King Joe, runner-up to Lad of the Manor in this race last year, albeit on a wet track, is about to move forward. Starter picks up the button, they're racing, and Minson began well. Segundo, our Smoking Joe, and Activation went back at the start, and Minson fired to the early lead, going fast. Pompeii Ruler, Red Dazzler wide out, maybe better's not far away on the fence with Minson. Just wanting to over-race a little bit for Raleigh, leading Red Dazzler by 3/4, maybe better hard up on the fence behind the mare, then came well back above deck. Activation, our Smoking Joe and Segundo brought up the rear. Ollie's got them to a snail's crawl at the 700 on Minson. He's leading a half-length. Red Dazzler, Pompeii Ruler flushed out, wider still De Beers, maybe better's right behind Minson, waiting on the run. Spinny's making ground, then came Showberry, Thin and Crispy, Serenade Rose as they turn. Minson front runner, foot hard on the pedal now for Oliver. Red Dazzler the outside and Pompeii Ruler looming. Maybe better needs a run, so too Thin and Crispy. Then Spinny down the centre, Minson's gone. It's Pompeii Ruler and Red Dazzler. Pompeii Ruler's got his head in front of Red Dazzler. Pompeii Ruler in front of Red Dazzler, and he wins the JJ Liston. Pompeii Ruler's beaten Red Dazzler. Our Smoking J maybe third in front of maybe better, but it's a photo from Spinny. They were followed by Showberry behind those above deck. Thin and Crispy, no luck. Then came Segundo Activation. Minson's run a shocker. He pulled hard early. Serenade Rose well back with De Beers.
Well, what a day for Nash Rowaya. What a day for Mick Price. 1, 2 in the list, and Pompeii Ruler, $24.90 and $5.30. Red Dazzler for Mick Price runs
blocked for a run inside, maybe better. Red Dazzler and Pompeii Ruler, the stablemates, came away to fight it out.
And Serenade Rose never out. Never got out at any stage, Serenade Rose, so don't worry about his performance. And Smoking Pompeii Ruler, only been beaten once. Yeah, Geelong and Maiden, and hasn't been beaten since. Pompeii Ruler, where will he get to? De Beers 3 wide throughout, facing the breeze.
I think the big surprise was shock in the first instance, and then he was able to find so much.
To change my plan around now because it's a weight for age win, so he can probably stay at that weight for age sort of thing, but I thought it was a fantastic win.
You said before the race, untapped. You talk about changing $1 for the Caulfield Cup before yesterday, now $15. Cox Plate into 26 from 100 to 1. A host of good runs here. Smoking Joe now equal Caulfield Cup favourite at $8 and into $15 for the Cox Plate. Thin and Crispy into 41 for the Cox Plate. Look, there's a heap of these to analyse. But Simon, Pompeii Ruler, on the day was the best horse, and the race evolved to his liking.
Super effort, Mick Price. Congratulations on preparing these two horses. Our Pompeii running at his best. He's a 1,400 metre horse, super run. But lordy me, there was a number of hard luck stories in this. There's Minson on the right of screen. Look at Thin and Crispy back behind him, just running to a brick wall with maybe better on the outside with the black cap. They had a bumping duel. Thin and Crispy then had to get up and get going again, which he did. Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on maybe better. He's going to learn a lot more once he gets out into the open spaces and gets a little bit more galloping room. Spinny ran great. He's in the all-three on your left, but Nashville.
The winner is only having his 5th start in the race, so take nothing away from him. It was a damn good effort, and if I owned Pompeii Ruler, I'd be more than happy. However, to put a bit of a wet blanket over it all, for our Smoking Joe to come home and run third in a 1,400 metre race, just lowers the form a touch.
Well, that's a good horse, Caesar.
He's a terrific horse.
He's got a Randvet place, got a BMW place.
He's my early Melbourne Cup tip, Bruce. But this was 1,400 metres against top-class sprinters. And I think...
With a genuine spell. And look, got into the right spot, obviously fit. Mick Price, probably a bit unlucky. Swapped the gates, and I've got no doubt that Red Dazzler gets the price. Just had to do a little bit of work in the early stages, but of no fault of the jockey. Look, Pompeii Ruler was very good and should go on. Red Dazzler, the same, very even, very consistent. I thought our Smoking Joe's run, well, he never runs a bad race. A lovely, lovely horse. I thought Spinny was quite solid too. And one that you'll see back there in the blue and pink called Serenade Rose. Unfortunately, I had something on it, probably a little premature, but nevertheless, I thought its run was fantastic. And I've got no doubt it's probably
stiff horses and got beaten.
What about
stiff? You know, bad luck.
What about De Beers? I always thought he was a powder puff. I'm sure of it now.
Oh, you've canned him. Yeah. Put the pen through De Beers.
Yep.
I tell you what, I
faithful favourites, and of course it is our Smoking Joe in with Serenade Rose. Lee Friedman 1-2 there. Head turner El Segundo $15. Pompeii into $15. Some big movers here. Lions Gates are short in the same. You going to a tip at this stage or not?
Okay, stop. Elaborate then. Listen. Nice chariot.
I'll share it. Kenny, any thoughts?
Serenade Rose running Caulfield.
Yeah. Stephen King's got the ride.
Oh.
There he is, $17 for the big mover. Harada Sun in the Cox Plate, 51 into $11. Our Smoking Joe, 21 to 15. Thin and Crispy into 41. Pompeii Ruler into 26 for the Cox Plate. But I'm still with him. Well, overnight at Newbury, Internationals, Guadalajara for Godolphin ran second. Munsif ran third behind a horse called Admiral's Cruise. So no shift there. Head turner still favourite. Steps out next week. Our Smoking Joe into $11 for the Melbourne Cup. Purdy.
And a quarter shortly as well. There it is, Bicky Tin Blues, the new Kingston Town, said
well, last if he runs like he did last start, you'd be taking the 130.
Yeah, 130.
Lead last of all, and as expected, and Bicky Tin Blues, he's about to go 3 deep on the outside, and he's in pursuit of these leaders. They're coming down towards the 650 metres mark, and Cole start the leader by 2. Will the lead second, a length away, Bicky Tin Blues, he's gone to third on the outside, he's still 4 from the leader. Another length, the Vada Gambler, Raider Vale Hornet, and the Great I Am is last on the fence as they greet the corner. 400 to go. It's Cole Start coming around the bend. Out by 2.5 to Will the lead. Bicky Tin Blues is now cool upon Freeze Run with the 57. And further back came the Great I Am. Cole Start, the leader, coming to the 200. But here he comes, Bicky Tin Blues. And shortly afterwards, Bicky Tin Blues pounced on Cole Start. And then Ada Vale Hornet, and Bicky Tin Blues draws away close to home. Bicky Tin Blues wins it by 2 to Cole Start. 1 3/4 Ada Vale Hornet. The next home, a photo.
The favourite, Newcastle bound, and also down to the Metropolitan here in Sydney are the plans. Bicky Tin Blues, Brad Pank.
The Bicky Tin
well,
keeps winning.
Yeah, keeps winning well. I can't wait till he comes to Sydney. See if we can line him up a bit.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Wasn't quite the Tulloch performance of last week, but nevertheless, all you can do is win.
Looking forward to this the next few weeks. I'm looking forward to being here too, man.
$18.50 is not far off what's happening. Number 2, Malcolm, $2.80, about 60 cents longer on track. Primus is your favourite, $2.50 the tote, shorter on track, about 20 cents. Smart Maxi, $10.20, that's big O. And Wyndham, Malcolm's firm, 60 cents. Primus has got out 25 cents. He's still been rock solid. Kenny made a valid. Which way did you lean?
I prefer Primus. I just think he'll be in front of the other runner in the run, Malcolm, so I prefer a bit of trouble near the centre. They're away. And jumping out quite quickly on the outside was Resistor going forward. Chess Record is ridden out of the stalls. Smart Maxi and Primus not all that far away, and New Edge on the rail. Almost 5 stretched across the track here, and they've burned lengths away. Malcolm's right on his back, followed by Cash Carter 3 wide. Dream Ballad going up on the rail, and then Kuda, Windermere, Sky and Pateza going past it. It's Smart Maxi the leader at the 500. Resistors ahead away. Chess Record the outside 3 wide from New Edge, and Primus is starting to ease to the outside. Then Dream Ballad, Malcolm's off the bit, and further back Cash Carter. It's Smart Maxi the leader up the rise, challenged by Resistor. Primus is now starting to make his move, followed by Chess Record, and then came New Edge and Malcolm. It's Resistor taking over, got away from Smart Maxi. Primus is starting to wear them down on the outside. Resistor's in front. Primus is getting there with every stride. Primus goes up to Resistor. It's Primus putting its head in front and wins it. Primus beat Resistor, New Edge third, and then Smart Maxi and Dream Ballad. Malcolm didn't come on, he was off the bit coming to the turn and didn't run on in the straight. And then Chess Record and Pateza, followed by horse, a 4-year-old by Flying Spur from Copa Oro, is owned by the Iskander Syndicate, also Gazelle.
It's third. Big strong stallion by Flying Spur. Primus nailing the brave Resistor, and Glenn Home.
Very good horse. He'll win a Toorak, or this horse, no doubt at all. He's top shelf.
He looked a bit bigger yesterday, Ken.
What's the horse going back to the rails red with a white cap? That's Tyler Knight's brother, Dream Ballad. I thought it was a nice first up run of his too. Primus is a good horse, so I agree with Glenn. I think he's a miler, which Glenn said before, and not a stayer. He looked huge.
The way I came over the rise, I thought he was just going to win with his head on his chest, but at first I thought to myself, oh, maybe he could have won a bit better, but looking back at the day, it's probably in the worst part of the track there, as opposed to the second horse, and they ran home a really strong last 600.
If it's looked after properly, which it isn't.
Beg to differ there.
All right, we'll talk while I know that. We might just say good morning to you.
I've spoken with Darren Beedman and John Hawkes. I'll leave you with a couple of these and we'll have more on it later, but Darren Beedman said it's a disgrace the way Randwick is being raced at the moment. He said, how long have we got to put up with this? There's no route system, they've got the drainage, they've got the camber, and they should not be running the Chelmsford meeting there in a couple of weeks. Also leading that charge, John Hawkes and John O'Shea.
All right, well, reiterating what's just been said, the track certainly wasn't up to scratch and very disappointing this time of year. My nation is there's no depth of root system. There's no guts in the grass. There's no consolidation. Well, there's no consolidation in the track, and like I said before, we've had a very wet winter, which I've heard statements that that's the reason why it's not performing. But in Dunedoo, the more rain, the better for growing grass. So I don't know.
Some of the best horses in the country in the yard for the Warwick Stakes. Let's get to Ken and Richard.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bruce. We've got Errol Mine, of course. He won the 3 Group 1s last season. He won 2 Group 1s, the 3-year-old. Railings, the Caulfield Cup winner. The BMW winner a few years ago in Grand Zulu. Desert Wars, a Group 1 winner. Courts in Session. St Basil was a late scratching this morning. Racing to Win. The Doncaster, the George Ryder Stakes winner. Head Turner, the Derby winner. The Queensland Derby winner in Ice Chariot. Dazelle and Aquadamore, who was in terrific form late last year. The Warwick Stakes.
With bookmakers, unders on the tote at 8.40. So number 13, Aquadamore, coming up riderless. And she goes in with racing in the Warwick Stakes. And Dazelle has gone well back with Forum shortly after the start. Eramine was showing plenty of speed. He's up there with Desert War, and so too is Courts in Session. Just in behind them, Grand Zulu and Racing to Win. Men in Session, he's fired up and he's going hard as they make the first bend by 2 on Desert War. And they sprint away by 4 lengths on Eramine. Then came Grand Zulu. Racing to Win, the Doncaster winner back on the inside, and further back was Men at Work. And then came Head Turner, followed by Railings, Aquadamore. Ice Chariot was further back, followed by Dazelle and Forum last of all. It's a strung out field as they come to the 600, and Danny Beasley's got a good hold on Courts in Session. Cassidy's already niggling at Desert War, second. Eramine 3 lengths away. Racing to Win is going up inside it from Grand Zulu, and then Men at Work and about 3 lengths to Head Turner. Well, here's the acid test for Courts in Session. He got away from Desert War up the rise. Racing to Win and Eramine are coming down the outside from Grand Zulu. Courts in Session still in front of the 200. The big grey Racing to Win is going to him, and he's Courts in Session just in front. Racing to Win is levelling up on the outside. Courts in Session is fighting on the inside. Courts in Session just in front. He hangs on. Courts in Session beat Racing to Win. Desert War third, and then came Eramine, followed by Head Turner, Grand Zulu, Aquadamore. Further back behind them next was Railings and Men at Work, Dazelle. Forum was well back, and last in was Ice Chariot.
He's back. He's back. And he toppled the favourite.
Wins from 29 starts, trained by Guy Wall.
And he toppled the favourite.
Makes it 13 wins from 29 starts, trained by Guy Walter. And it's back to Richard now as Courts in Session comes back in, and Richard will talk to the connections and also Danny Beasley.
Form beating a hot field. Racing to Win was good. Desert War was good after taking on Courts in Session early. Glenn Bosch, you rode Eramine in the race. Basically, what you take out of it is they all went well, didn't they?
Yeah, all the good horses ran well, and obviously a few of them are a bit above themselves in condition, having their first runs back. But it was pleasing to see, I think, all the main contenders all ran well, so that was great.
Certainly Head Turner in the black with the white, he's run well from a Cup's point of view. Aquadamore, after putting on the usual tantrum pre-race, she's made up more ground than most in the run home.
Yeah, Glenn, Eramine's run was great. You must have been very happy with Racing to Win, who you'll be riding for most of his campaign. Probably his run ended right on the line. And I thought there were a couple of great runs.
Yeah, look at the race there.
And it makes a crust on top. When the horses hit, they're breaking through that crust, and when they break through it, there's like a secondary movement there when they go deeper into the sand. And the clods are coming back. You know, why these tracks become leaderish tracks, because the clods that are coming back, they're like dinner plates, and they're a solid clod.
The horses won't chase.
Mate, you know, horses are galloping at speeds of 55, 60 kilometres an hour, and the clods, the clods coming back at the same speed. So you're getting hit by clods. They're probably doing, well, you're getting hit by clods that are doing probably 100 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The horses behind won't chase. That's what makes it a leader's track. The inside track you saw at the Kensington track definitely played better. Now, I walked out. It's easy to say, look, it doesn't wear with me.
No way. This track has got, Michael, he said it's got the best profile of any track he's ever dealt with. It is actually built to withstand water. So when they say, oh, we've had a wet winter, that's crap, because that track is actually built for that.
And it's on a sand base.
You know, this track is... It's certainly not up to scratch.
The family who owned Courts in Session, racing to win second and Desert War third. Ron, it was dead and buried last prep.
He was. He'd had the hard run at the 1200 first up last prep, and it may have flattened him, so time will tell how this run affects him. You want to see him back it up with another strong performance like this, but... Look, he's all heart. We know that. He's an excitable type of horse, loves to run, loves to fight, and... he was too good again yesterday. The track was playing on pace. We must take that into account. I think he was gallant in defeat racing to win. He's a 3-year-old who's gone into his 4-year-old year and had to carry the 57.5 as a 4-year-old at weight for age first up, and has improvement in him. Excellent performance from him. He's back. Desert War battled away. He needed the run. I thought Eremine's run was the best in the race. Looking at the horse's condition before the race, he had more scope for improvement than any other runner in this race. His run was excellent.
And there's Aqua Walk just getting home.
Made good ground, yeah.
Made up good ground, but had a bit of fitness on its side. Look, I wouldn't say...
Kenny, let's have a look at the totes here. Number 1 Gold Edition, the Queenslander, $2.80, about 30 cents longer on track. Pure Energy, the stablemate, hello. It's just firm 15 points, $28 is spot on. Day Joy, $9.90 is spot on. My Lady's Chamber, $35 is right around the mark. Here's the big overs. Montmello, number 8, $6.30 the tote, 2 points shorter on track. Yini Nina, number 9, $17.60.
And she is by Galileo, so you'd expect as the races get longer she'd improve, and Tuesday Joy's always given that impression as well, being by Carnegie out of an Oaks winner herself. Gold Edition, the firm favourite. Ready, they're racing. And coming out slowly was Coast to the Post, missed the start clearly. Astounded out wide is going forward to lead from Gold Edition. Mystifies up there, and Zoccoletta and Belong to Many going along the fence. It's on top, Gold Edition, as they run to the 650. Leading now from Astounded. Mystifies is third, followed by Belong to Many. Zoccoletta fifth on the inside from Montmello, just trying to push out of a pocket. Outside it is Absolutely Fabulous from Tuesday Joy, Heat of the Fire. And then Angel's Girl and My Lady's Chamber. Pure Energy's a mile back with Gallant Tess as they turn for home, and Gold Edition has raced away. She's about 3 lengths in front of Astounded. Then came Mystifies, Montmello going back to the inside, and Belong to Many, but it's Gold Edition well clear at the 200. Montmello gets into the clearers, giving chase from Astounded, but they're all chasing in vain because this mighty filly's going to win again. Gold Edition, hands and heels to the line, goes down to win it from Montmello. Heat of the Fire got up for third, and then came Astounded and Tuesday Joy, a big run, followed by Coast to the Post, Belong to Many. Then Absolutely Fabulous, Janina and Zoccoletta. From Gallant Tess and My Lady's Chamber, Mystifies, Angel Girl, and Pure Energies come in along last.
What a good filly she is. What a good filly she is. Thank you.
So Gold Edition by Lion Hunter from Glimmers, taking out the Silver Shadow Stake, sponsored by Big Pond.
For Glenn was good, but gee, Glenn, must be hard to chase a filly who just gets out and runs like that.
Yeah, she's a very impressive filly and beautifully ridden, and one...
Well, you know, Ronnie Maund, he buys them to race them, and it's $1 million in prize money next week in the Golden Race. She'll run. Mentality and Excites and company better watch out, because she'll be very hard to beat. And don't forget this second filly. I went off one run too early yesterday, Montmello. Her run was absolutely outstanding on a track that became very...
Home out wide in that too, Ronnie.
Tuesday Joy, Oaks filly for sure. Oaks filly for sure, Tuesday Joy, but what a bonny filly she is. It'll be interesting when she gets to the Golden Rose, if she goes there next week at the 1400, a high-pressure 1400. We'll find out how good she really is.
I reckon she'll go really well if she goes there too, because she's just got a level of toughness that the others perhaps don't have.
Yeah.
And once the track was playing like that, they wanted to get up onto the lead and were very hard to run down. Jet played into this filly's hands. She might have won if the track was playing a different way anyway. But once it played that...
Like My Midi, $4.90, a half point longer, $21 just Mambo spot on. Backdraft, $5.80, love to get that. They bet that and Crash being Wallop, 580s now over a point betting to get on track. Half that on track. Good money for Court Command, 550, about a half point shorter. Number...
Today, so good possibility now. And jumping out slowly was My Midi. It's missed the start and so is Slow Waltz. And coming out quickly was Court Command, and he'll take the lead easily today. He's run nicely clear from Super Savings. 600, it's Court Command just in front of Stormpede, improving to a clear second. Diego Garcia on the inside of Super Savings, and All Black Gold's very deep. Then Antidotes off the bit from Flushing Meadows, and then came Slow Waltz, followed by My Midi, Wonderful World, Little Saiwan and Just Mambo. Court Command's under a good hold as they get to the 200. Now McClellan produces a stick, and he's shot away from Stormpede. Then came Slow Waltz, All Black Gold. Diego Garcia getting up on the fence, but Court Command is racing away with the up and coming. He got the lead today, and he's going to score very easily indeed. Court Command first from Stormpede, third Diego Garcia, and then Slow Waltz and Just Mambo. Further back was Super Savings, My Midi, an absolute shocker, and finished well back at the tail.
Another big day for the market movers. 11 very, very good win. $4.20 and $1.90 the winner. $3.90 for second, $2.70 for third. The Quinella, 30.
Pretty comparable performance between the fillies and the colts. The fillies ran 110.6, the colts 110.71, and the sectional split's a bit more in favour of Court Command, betting Stormpede and Diego Garcia. Court Command, obviously a galloper going in the right direction.
Yeah, as I say, he was probably favoured by the track at the finish of the day. However, this horse, you've got to remember, that was only his third race start. His first race start he won at Wyong, which, you know, if you've got any pretensions to class, you're going to win a Wyong maiden. He then came out last week, struck a little bit of trouble early, got a bump on the home turn and got pushed very wide and stuck at it to run fourth. That was a fortnight ago, sorry, in the San Domenico. To come out and decide to be bomb-proof yesterday, and both Digger McClellan and Darren Smith, the trainer, feel that the best will be seen of this horse when he gets to 1,400, 1,600 metres. Stormpede's run was great.
Shifty, and this horse was impressive. It's just so hard to read how impressive this is given the way the track was racing.
Yeah.
I just can't work that out. Can you, Huey?
No, it's difficult, and I followed the eventual winner. I was on Diego Garcia. I was a little tight coming around the turn and had to allow the winner to get away from me. I wouldn't have beaten it anyway, but again, looking back at the track, it's just impossible to make up ground. Even if you are good enough, you just can't do it.
I think the key to the winner here, boys, is that it's finished behind Gold Edition, that its previous run in the San Domenico, and it's really improved. Darren Smith telling me this morning, horses come through perfectly. Went for a swim, spent a couple of days in the paddock.
This afternoon, the Middies McEwen Stakes Group 3 level. Horses in the yard here. Favourite is 10, Miss Andretti. Big overs the tote, you'll see it shortly. You can see on the first page, Saspy 560, exactly what's happening on course. Cargo, and we'll look for Miss Andretti. You can see 360, 480, 590. We'll try around 5 to 4 in the old here on course at Munich.
As our next market mover, they've been...
McEwen about to go. Let's go to Brian Martin for the call.
Okay, ready, they're racing. Left in a fairly good line. Bazaar dropping back with Cargo Colt. Miss Andretti, Cons Amy and Strategy G bounce to the front together. Just off those settling down. Strategy G from What's the Mail, Cons Amy. Miss Andretti fourth, fifth in the middle there is Dainrich. Then perfectly ready Saspy. Cargo Colt to the outside running on. Further back then came Watch Your Back, followed by Bomber Bill. On the turn, Strategy G from on the outside. What's the Mail and Miss Andretti comes at them very quickly on the outside. 2 lengths, Cargo Colt running on. Then Saspy, but Miss Andretti took the lead coming around the turn. A length and a half to Cargo Colt and Saspy after it quickly, followed by What's the Mail. Miss Andretti in front with 100 to go. Saspy coming hard on the inside. Saspy getting to Miss Andretti. They hit it. Oh, bob of the head here. Saspy, Miss Andretti, don't know. 2 away, third in the race, Cargo Colt. Then came What's the Mail from Watch Your Back. Running on was Roman Arts from Dainrich, Cons Amy, Bomber Bill, perfectly ready, Bazaar, Strategy G near the tail. This is close.
It sure is close.
They did. I hate to say this, Bruce, if he'd been able to come outside instead of being hemmed in by Cargo Colt, I'm sure he would have won Saspy. That's what he likes. But
first up, 280 and 140, $2 Saspy, 240 to Cargo Colt. Popular Quinella, 720, 1130 the exact. 11 from 17, formerly trained by David Muller in Western Australia. He retains ownership now with Sean Buckley, and now trained by Lee Freedman, for whom she's unbeaten. She goes to the Manikato Stakes, as does Saspy. Cargo Colt's in for a good prep. Shane, good race.
wrong result for you, but it was they're both going well, these horses.
Well, Nash took a lot of convincing that he hadn't won too.
Yeah.
Well, so, you know, I think she's got some more good wins in her.
Group 1 wins?
Possibly, Ronnie, possibly. You know, everything would have to go right. Jury's out a bit after yesterday, just not quite, you know, putting a space on him. But having said that, I'll tell you what, when you put the frog on, you want to have him pretty fit, because he goes for home pretty early on him. And that's not the criticism. He puts him in the spot and he goes for home, you know.
Yeah, he certainly does.
For Natural Man. The market mover is the favourite, Fast and Famous. Mark Sheen...
I think Darren will be nursing him a little bit longer today. Racing in the first, and Swansea came out slowly. The favourite, Fast and Famous, began brilliantly. Beeman's got him under restraint as Mr. Incredible goes up on the inside, and Natural Man now. And the leader here is Mr. Incredible, still doing it well. Leads from Natural Man and Fast and Famous, just starting to come up 3 wide now. And a couple of lengths behind them, Scott's Gem. Serious Money railed on the turn and is under pressure, and then Te Deum. It's Mr. Incredible, the leader at the 300, but Fast and Famous is looming up on the outside. He's run past Natural Man, a couple of lengths to Te Deum and Scott's Gem. Now get serious on this favourite, Fast and Famous, and it sprints away. It's opened up 2 lengths on Mr. Incredible, Natural Man, and Te Deum's running on well, but Fast and Famous, a very promising galloper, and he'll go down and win the first clearly by a couple on Mr. Incredible. Te Deum's run third.
That place going to Group 1 level, you mark my word. Today was just a minor race, a Class 6 Saturday race. This place going right to the top. He'll be competitive in Group 1 race.
He's beautifully bred. He's got the pedigree to go on with it by Reddish Choice out of a good race mare in Zelinda. Where do you think he can get to?
I think he can get as far as the Sellinger this preparation. I really think he's going somewhere. Johnny O'Shea's been...
Number 1 Mentality, $3.60, Kenny, that's spot on the mark. 6.90 Excites, about a half point shorter on track. Diego Garcia, Command is spot on. Empire's Choice, $19, 7 points longer. My Midi, $21.50. You can add the favourite Gold Edition, $4.60, a point shorter. Delago Mist, $18.20, a spot on. Universal Queen, $51. You can add 30 points. Catachoo-Choo, $60 on the TAB, similar on track. Bar was the only...
New Golden Rose, a Group 3 event over 1,400 metres for 3-year-olds at set weights. It's due in 8 minutes, worth $1 million. First out is number 1 Mentality, Darren Beedman.
All that. Court Commands firmed a point, 7.30 is a point of value. Empire's Choice, $20, 5 points longer, all the way down. It's a half point shorter. The market mover in the 2 is new, $1 million. Golden Rose is number 1. Mentality, Darren Beeman and Johnny Hawk.
Rose. Excites and Universal Queen drift out the back, and Court Command and Diego Garcia landed in front. They lead from Gold Edition. The fillies up there running third. My Midi and Lightning Glance were next from Love You Leo. Bomber off the lead. It's Court Command in front as they get to the 800 by 3/4 on Lightning Glance. Gold Edition tracking them on the outside of Diego Garcia from My Midi, and over on the fences Bomber Command, 2 lengths to Love You Leo, and then Casino Prince followed by Mentality. He's midfield about 7 off the lead. Then Empire's Choice and Delago Miss from He's No Pider moving up 3 wide. Excites is jammed up between horses at the moment from Catachoo-Choo, Volta Bolter and Universal Queen. It's Court Command in front, but here comes the filly Gold Edition. She's looming up to Court Command, and they've run away from Lightning Glance. Further back was Bomber Command and Diego Garcia. Court Command is fighting bravely on the inside. He holds the lead by a length on Gold Edition, who's flat. Then Diego Garcia, Mentality wider out, but Court Command is going to lead all the way in the Golden Rose, and Court Command wins it in a blanket finish for the Miners. Empire's Choice second, Mentality third, and then Gold Edition followed by Excites and Catachoo-Choo. Further back behind them, Diego Garcia and Love You Leo, and then Bomber Command and Universal Queen. Further back was Lightning Glance, and then Volta Bolter. Well back was He's No Pider, Casino Prince, Delago Mist, and last in was My Midi.
Excuse me, Melbourne. Excuse me, Melbourne. We've got one up here. His name's Court Command. He's only raced 4 times. He's come from Wyong to a $1 million win in the space of 4 runs. Good runs by the place getters. Empire's Choice, Bart Cummings. Watch out for the Derby, and Mentality wasn't disgraced. 890.
Good. No, I didn't know he was this good, but now I do.
Mate, he was awesome last week. He was the new kid on the block, and today he beat them and beat them pointlessly.
Well, he's not the new kid on the block anymore. He's the horse on top of the block.
What do you do now, mate? He's taken...
I'll give him a little bit of a chance today. I just waited a little bit longer because, you know, we just wanted to look after him because he backed up from last week. So when we get serious with him, we're really going to let him have it.
Mate, the big day 40s and 36.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here comes the winner of the Tooheys New Golden Rose. Back to...
Well, he's lightly raced and he's full of ability. Court command for Digger McClellan and Darren Smith off to Melbourne for the Caulfield Guineas. Godzone ran 4th in the race last year and won a Caulfield Guineas. Paratroopers won it and ran 2nd. Empire's Choice, 1 to follow. Mentality, over race in the middle stages and excites an exciting run as well. It's going to be a great form race, but none more exciting than the winner. And I think one bloke who's sitting on this panel was pretty excited after the race. Let's go to it.
Excuse me, Melbourne. Excuse me, Melbourne. We've got one up here. He's...
Yeah, we heard you, Kenny, we heard you. Excuse me, Sydney, we've got a couple of good ones down there too, but it's going to make for a great Caulfield Guineas this year, isn't it? And look, I think Muscat, I think he's gone to the... might not get there.
Oh, I don't think Muscat will be pushed to the Caulfield Guineas, Bruce. Muscat's quite exciting.
This horse can.
Exactly.
Last year, Paratroopers beat Racing to Win, Pendragon, Godzone in this race. The previous year, Alamaha ran 2nd. E-Consul, who won the Caulfield Guineas, ran 4th. Sowerby won a Cox Plate, ran 5th. Previous year, In Top Swing won this race and won the Caulfield Guineas. This horse is more lightly raced.
And you're here telling me about the McNeil Stakes.
Yeah.
Bruce, what I want to tell you is that on paper, before they go into the race, history will prove whether it turns out that way. This was probably the strongest Golden Rose, and this is a great race. Should be probably at least a Group 2.
Yeah.
Now...
But, Kenny, what about Empire's Choice? He's a cracker.
Look at Excites coming back in the green and white, had nowhere to go, got all excited before the race. Fabulous runs. But the worst thing we can do is forget the winner. Absolutely. He's cantering it. He's still got hold of him now at about 150. Digger says, oh, come on, fella. They can't get near us. Let's show them what we can do. And look at how far away he goes from them this last little bit after being with them with 150 to go. And he's got a high cruising speed. He'll be better off at the mile. Look, I think we can look back in the field too often. And I've got a fabulous opinion of Empire's Choice and Excites, but I'm starting to realise that I should have been getting a bit more excited about Court Command.
He'll be a better horse for the sit too, Kenny. He'll be able to relax. Look, he relaxed here. OK, the vet did confirm what Glenn Lynch told us there, that the Mighty Filly Gold Edition was suffering from heat stress, which might be a winter performer behind. Empire's Choice ran 2nd, yet to win a race. Steve Moran, is this horse who?
He is the new Northerly. He'll win a derby, if not 2 derbies this season, and he'll win the Cox Plate next season.
Steve-o.
Empire's Choice.
Fantastic work.
Someone taping the show at home? You got the kids taping the show?
That's great.
Yeah, all
the next Northerly.
I'll make sure I'll take the replay, Steve, and I'll put that in my locker with Steve Moore and put a picture of a clown next to it, and we'll see if it works out.
Not a hypothetical comment, that, is it?
Oh, I love him.
Is that a new word for you today?
I don't think he's been ready either run this time in. He's responded to hard riding. Tempo of races has been against him, and he still finds the line. I think he's a terrific horse.
Still hasn't won a race yet.
This is the top colt, this is a really top colt. He's got the ability to have gate speed and then switch off. And look, he's just not a speedster. He's all class, and he'll measure up to anything Darren puts him, in my opinion.
You could see there for Constitution. Is he a tough horse? Can he make it the whole way through the spring? Because it's very early to be at his peak, isn't it?
Well, he'll run in the Stan Fox in a fortnight, and then he may go down to the Guineas.
Right.
So,
will that be his grand final?
That'll do him.
Right. So. Okay. So Guineas, and then maybe the Spelling Paddock.
Yep. Any sort of force in any race. Casino Prince, Empire's Choice. He's outstanding. He's got Derby written all over him.
Is he a bit down?
Eh?
Empire's Choice.
Oh, very. I do. I think he is down.
I don't think he's completely down. He can accelerate the horse.
Yeah, I've been making him the horse to follow. I think he's a horse that
I think you're
a
month or two early for him, but he's got a big race in him, a big stone race.
You'd have to say exciting.
One undue, 690, a half point longer. It's firmed a half point. 320, Regal Cheer can get a half point longer. Utson's just firmed 30, spot on. Captain Back's 45.
Firmer on track, firming a full point. He's also racing. Lucky Knight jumped very quickly. Undue was away well. So too was the 3-year-old Ricky Czar. And Ricky Czar will take it up from Bold Matador, Posadas, and then Lucky Knight will go. Ricky Czar leads by a half a length on Bold Matador, doing it tough, and Posadas between that pair. Lucky Knight 4th on the inside. Then came Fox Lake from Regal Cheer, Max Tune and Undue midfield. 2 lengths behind them, Mustard, and then came Captain Back's Right Son, and Utzon as last of all. Ricky Czar in front as they turn from Bold Matador and Posadas between between that pair. Fox Lake the outside. Unju's trying to push into the clear. It's coming down the outside with Regal Cheer. Lucky Knight back on the inside, but Regal Cheer, the mare's taken the lead from Unju. Then Fox Lake and Mustard is steaming home late. Regal Cheer kicked away 100 to go. Mustard's the only danger, the outside, and coming quickly, and will get up. Mustard beat Regal Cheer. Fox Lake possibly third. There's a heap of them there for third. In fact, maybe Fox Lake just in front of Captain Bax and Utsanor.
Darren Beedman on a roughie. They bet about $16. He's paid $11.90 on the tote. Old Mustard for Johnny McNair. 20 the winner. $1.70 for second. $2.40 for third. $25.90 the exact.
We won the Star Kingdom Stakes there in the autumn. He comes back and wins the Group 3 Concord Stakes as a 9-year-old. Darren Beedman. Imagine going around $12 with D. Beedman up. Regal Cheer performance, Kenny, by Johnny McNair. Good ride by Darren Beedman, but it says our Sydney sprinters are a bit skinny on the ground.
Yep, I think Fast and Famous is our best sprinter here and won't be long before he proves it. That was an...
Ronnie, you're so right.
All right, let's pick these up.
HDF McNeil Stakes, Group 3 level, and some of the stars of Australian racing on show here. Harada Sun, Miss Finland, Dominate. He's got his own website. You can see on the screen there, little young fan there in the Harada Sun colours. So it's great to see the youth supporting Harada Sun, and what a youthful horse he is. He looks fantastic. $1.50 Harada Sun, $4.10 Miss Finland. They dominate the betting, $8.60.
Hands up or it doesn't. He's $1.90 now on track, Harada Sun. He's probably also looking for even further at this stage. He's had the one run back. He's marked.
Racing. Left in a beautiful line. Due Sasso out wide first to break the line. Lectrice pushing forward with Zupa 1/3 early the fence. Mondano further back from Miss Finland when they settle down. And they're followed by Harada Sun, who's back last to the 6 when they settle. A neck in front of Due Sasso, 2 to Zupa 1. Mondano a half away, 4th, 2 to Miss Finland. And a length up on the inside, then Harada Sun, about 4 or 5 off the lead. 600 metres out before the turn. Lectrice a half in front of Due Sasso. Zupa 1/3 the fence. Mondano to the outside. A length further back, Miss Finland, and then came Harada Sun. They did slow up, and Lectrice will come for home, a neck in front of Due Sasso. Zupa 1 trying to push out outside at Mondano. Harada Sun in a bad position, trying to get clear, and Miss Finland to the outside. Harada Sun can't get clear. Miss Finland coming down the outside. Due Sasso in front. Miss Finland hit the front. Now Harada Sun getting up on the inside. Here he comes. Harada Sun going after Miss Finland. Harada Sun, Miss Finland. They hit the line together. Oh, this is close. Harada Sun and Miss Finland, nothing between them. I think Due Sasso may have got 3rd from Zupa 1. Then further back Lectrice, and Mondano was last of all. The 2 top ones have hit the line locked together.
They've hit the line together, 110.49. Who's won it? Miss Finland on the outside, and it's going to get it. Miss Finland will get it. Tragedy beaten Harada Sun. What was he doing going back to the inside? Williams out and rolling, and Nash went back to the inside, and it's cost him victory without a doubt.
Oh, no question, Bruce, although I think it's fantastic. This has gone. This is what we wanted to see. They've run away from the others, who are all pretty useful. See the picture there with Nash in those distinctive colours, riding hard. If he got out
and into that great strong,
pretty handy performance.
David Hayes here. We look to an exciting race, and we got
great fight. The good Boom Colt sort of got at her, and I think she sort of kicked back. I want to watch the replay a couple of times.
Just watching, you thought that the Harada...
Oh, we're heading towards the Guineas. At the moment, it's the Fillies Guineas. But you're now looking forward to, after having a week over at Lindsay Park, to see what we had, and you saw it today.
You knew you had Nash back inside you when you wanted to get rolling?
I looked 3 times to make sure. My notes were, before I went out, was my horse is a class act. And there's only one to beat, so it's going to be an epic later on.
I might see him there
on the day. I've put in worse rides actually, but yeah, look, I was going to have to go around Miss Finlay's heels, and I felt I couldn't sort of go around her and beat her, and she's probably proven that the way she's fought on that last little bit. I rode for a bit of luck and it didn't come.
She had momentum, and you had to balance up.
You can see it on film there, we're a bit stiff. Thank you.
National beaten on Harada Sun here and copping it from the crowd at Classic Caulfield, Steve.
Yeah, it certainly was, Bruce. For those that didn't hear, somebody declaring it his worst ride ever and Nash telling you have ridden worse. But, oh, look, I think it was...
But the filly got there, Miss Finland, a short half head over Harada Sun, and they put a gap on Due Sasso, who's no slouch at all, and they ran cracking time. Just over 1:10. Simon, after the race, obviously, we'll discuss this more the way he did. He copped it on the chin, as did Tony Vassell. Did he make a mistake?
In hindsight, we like to analyse the race and say, right, what do we do differently next time when you're in a race with just 6 runners? On the inside in the red cap. Now, Nash drew 5. Miss Finland on the outside, who won the race, drew 3. That's where I find it a little bit difficult and a little bit grey cloud. Now, Tony Vassell would have said to Nashville Wheeler, there's two things prior to this race in a small field. Don't get caught inside him, because he's a horse that's stepping up to the mile.
Oh, he did.
And get to the outside and make sure he gets home and gets some, and obviously gets a bit of galloping room so we can see his best. Now, in saying that...
This point too.
Very good horses. I don't want to bag either horse, and I don't want to bag Nashville Wheeler. I don't think that he could have peeled to the outside of her at the top of the straight and beaten her. He'd have been giving beaten her. He'd been giving her a length and a half start. He knows that. He steadied the horse.
Well, I disagree with you, Ken.
Okay, it's only opinion, Simon. You might be right.
When he gets out of this...
Look, he's out now, and she's made a longer run. He's out. He's there to beat her.
And he runs up to her.
Excuse me.
You said momentum.
Bruce asked me to finish. She had the momentum, but he got out now. He got there to beat her. I've seen top horses that had beat other horses under those circumstances. I think they're both absolute top-class horses. I think she's clearly the best filly around. Harada Sun, he's got a good trainer. He'll be there when the whips are cracking. However, from a Caulfield Guineas point of view, I've got to put a question mark on the whole thing.
Oh, please.
You go through all the McNeil Stakes runs. It's not a good lead-up to the race. History shows in the last 3 years since it's been running, the Golden Rose is a lead-up race.
Paratroopers.
I think they're both crackerjacks. I don't think either was as impressive as Court Command.
Hard to please, Kenny.
All right, look, Harada Sun might have been a little bit unlucky not to beat Miss Finland, but I tell you what, they put a space on the third horse, and that is a very good sign for both of them. What did you think of that, Alfie?
Oh, look, you know, I just thought it was stupid in terms of what price they were betting. Like, I tipped Harada Sun, and look, OK, I got no doubt it was unlucky, but I ended up backing Miss Finland because it was just stupid odds as far as I'm concerned. There is not that much between them, particularly at the weight alteration as well. But I think Nash was probably a victim of circumstances when the speed backed off.
She's a great filly who's already there. She's got the form on the board. She's a Golden Slipper winner. I think it was more a great ride on the winner than a bad ride on the second horse. He forced him to go inside. He had no other option. It didn't work out. But I'll tell you one thing, that second horse really won me yesterday. He's got an aura about him.
He's tough, isn't he?
He stamped himself after getting a few bumps. He's no pussycat.
So you reckon, Ronnie, from a point of view, the punter that got aggro with Nash's ride yesterday...
Doesn't understand racing.
No, but didn't he have the chance to actually trail the winner?
No.
He did.
No,
hang
on.
Not really.
Hang on a minute. Andrew, you're 100% right. I'll say one thing. No, I'll say one thing, right? One drew barrier 3. Finished outside the other one, it drew barrier 5. It was a bad ride.
Bad ride? Or he just got outridden by Craig?
No, well, it was one or the other. He could have put him in the same position. He drew outside him, finished inside him. End of story. The heckler was right.
Two very good horses.
David Hayes and Craig Williams had the first
form. There's the totes, 1880 Fields of Omar, similar, 660 Ladder of the Manor, that's overs. El Segundo, 360, that's about bang on what's happening on course. $5 Apache Cat, exactly what's happening on course. Zipping, just mentioned him, 1870. Look out here, 10, 11 and 12. Minson, under the odds at $8.10. You can get double figures. Thin and Crispy at $9.60, 60 cents shorter. Perfect Promise, $10.50, 2.5 points shorter. Good luck, Greg.
Thanks very much.
Greg Urell, that's Brenda Bella and Blake Shin of Parted Company, about to be reunited.
For the Group 2, Memsey, set to run. Racing all, Brenda Bella reared in the air and missed the start 4 lengths. And one of the first out, Minson, flew from the gate and landed out in front here from Testifiable Shadow Casual Pass. Led of the Manor from Apache Cat, Perfect Promise, El Segundo, Nicanero. Further, 8.50 out. They back the speed off a little in front. Minson nearly a length to Testifiable, 2.5 to 3 to Casual Pass. Shadow on the fence and Apache Cat's working out to 3 deep. A length into Led of the Manor, Nicanero. Then Perfect Promise, El Segundo. Zipping Thin and Crispy, Brenda Bella. And Fields of Omar last of all. Up to the bend and Minson led a half length, Testifiable. A length for the back, Casual Pass. Then Apache Cat followed by Shadow. Ladder the Manor, Nicanero. Perfect Promise and El Segundo are a long way back. Fields of Omar pulled to the outside from Thin and Crispy, Zipping. And Brenda Bella at the 300 metre mark. Minson a length in front of Testifiable. Casual Pass, Apache Cat, Nicanero and El Segundo. Then Fields of Omar on the outside. Casual Pass, grab Minson. Apache Cat, and here's El Segundo. He's flying down the outside. Casual Pass in punt. No, it's El Segundo. El Segundo gets up to win a long hit on the line, Casual Pass. Third home, Apache Cat. Then came Nicanero, Zipping. Minson, Testifiable, Thin and Crispy, Perfect Promise. Fields of Omar, Ladder the Manor. Brenda Bella and Shadow back near the tail. A big performance by El Segundo.
Absolutely right, Brian, and didn't Gouch love it, and didn't he give him a confident ride? When you look at the replay, look for about the 300-metre mark, he just eases him out, and he's still probably 6 to 8 lengths off him, and you'd say, well, he's going to have to get working here. Gouch knew what he had underneath him. He's got a potential Segundo, and didn't they get selected as Darren Gouchy at the top of the straight?
It was actually, yeah, as we keep saying, we've got a lot of faith in this horse. He can reel off unbelievable sectionals. He does it week in, week out. So, obviously on track.
You kept trying to talk yourself down a bit this week. Were you bubbling inside, though?
I've just got a lot of confidence in the horse all the time, and we have not.
You must have known that from the run in the Ori Star, how well he'd come back.
That's true, yeah. Anyway, got to keep our feet on the ground. We've got a fair way to go, but so far, so good.
A touch closer today, but going around the barriers, the horse was awfully keen, and I decided then and then we'll probably just bounce and be where he wanted to be. I was a little bit awkward because I always had Nicky Nero on my outside covering me up, and I really didn't want to be in a position today, so I had to come back a pair and follow him up, because I knew once I got to the outside, he's just got a powerful sprint.
See a horse with as good a sprint as you've ridden?
I think so, yes, for sure.
We'll see in the Cox Plate.
You will, thank you.
Darren Gouch, won it in 88, long time ago, Gouch. Won it in 2006.
Segundo beats Casual Pass and Apache Cat. What a performance. Colin Little.
And why wouldn't he be? Going for his first Cox Plate on this horse, beating Casual Pass, who goes to the Caulfield. Cox Plate on this horse, beating Casual Pass, who goes to the Caulfield Cup. Apache Cat, possibly to the Cox Plate. Steve Moran, he ran his last furlong there in 10.99. It was a confident ride by Gouch.
Certainly was. It was bordering on arrogant. The pace was just steady for this class of race. 48.8 first 800. You can see that El Segundo's still well back in those red sleeves. Gouch just comes to the outside. The only other horse in the race is zipping behind him in the Williams colours, the blue and the white, who runs comparative late sectionals. They were clearly the best two performances in the race, given the tempo. And El Segundo, he's done this pretty much under his own steam.
Simon, from a jockey's point of view, when you're riding,
as you can see him pulling up there,
Kenny, he's the benchmark in Melbourne. Eremine's the benchmark in Sydney, and they are dominating the Cox Plate market as we sit right now. We'll see Eremine in the Chelmsford or.
Eremine's got a great hope when they meet El Segundo, and El Segundo's got a great hope beating Eremine. I like El Segundo. I like horses that can accelerate the way he did. He's got a better than 50% winning record, which is an excellent thing. I think he's getting better all the time. I think he's relaxing better now. I like his trainer, like his jockey, like the Honda Memsey.
Well, Bruce, I doubt that anything that finished behind El Segundo yesterday could beat him in the Cox Plate. Some of these horses might improve to be competitive in other high-level races. I think the summary of the race is first three plus zipping. All performed very well.
All right. Beautiful to see the horse go on because, look, he ran terrific time, good sectionals first up. And he's gone ahead and repeated exactly the same. And look, he never got the perfect run in transit. He had to get up and really run to the line solidly. The effort was absolutely outstanding. There is no question about that. Zipping again followed on from his good first up performance. He's heading in the right direction. I've got no doubt El Segundo won't run in the Caulfield Cup. Colin is going to run straight into the Cox Plate. Zipping's your Caulfield Cup horse. And I felt sorry for little Apache Cat. I thought its performance was good. It was just on the back foot as it went to...
Full credit to Colin Little. He's done a marvellous job with this horse. He's had such a long layoff. I think he's a star, a deserved Cox Plate favourite. Take a mighty horse to beat him.
He's a magnificent looking animal, isn't he?
Thank you, Kenny. Here in the yard for the last year, and Tesbury Jack is a tote favourite. You can see 350 ahead of California Dane, 710. Well, California Dane and Tesbury Jack are very close together on course. There's only 20 cents between them. Tesbury Jack 3-1, California Dane 20 cents better. So you can see the tote holding up well for $20, 7 points over the odds. Shadowways at 8.10. That's about right. Magnus 11.20, that's 3 points overs.
As we speak, it's $5 into $4.60. You're shopping well on the tote. Okay. It's the late rally California Dane.
I reckon it is. I reckon that's your market mover. You see them firm late, as we have with California Dane.
The last. Gates are back and they're off. Magnus seemed to just dip coming out, lost no ground. Bouncing quickly, California Dane with Magically, and also Day charging up in the centre when they settle down. Now Magnus and Day are wide on the track, but they're coming over, followed by getting back from Shadowways, and dropping out to last of all is Merlot now. Coming up the side here, and the leader is Day down on the inside from Magnus. A length further back than Tesbury Jack, very deep around the outside of further back than Orange County. Then Serene Prince, followed by Magically coming for for home. Dusk over on the inside. They're across the track. Magnus took the lead from Tesbury Jack down the outside. Then Amy J. Power, Orange County. Back behind the Mikado. Further back Magically. On the outside, Tesbury Jack going up now to Magnus. Then wider out Amy J. Power. And Shadow Waves from the back is storming down the outside. Shadow Waves out wide, racing up to them with Amy J. Power. Great finish. Shadow Waves out wide and Amy J. Power hit it together. Magnus fought back, may have got third. Tesbury Jack just weakened from Mikado. Then further back in the race came Merlot now, Dusk. Behind them, Serene.
Huge win this. Shadow Waves from second last on the home turn. Nash Willer, well, he was in the outhouse after about race 3. He's come home with the last 2. What a win, Stephen. Well done. 982.80.
The Witch House, yeah, tremendous performance. Nash winning the last 2. Amy J. Power, huge run. Magnus working up on the speed has toughed it out. But this is a pretty seriously good horse, I think, Bruce. Prepared by Gwenda Johnston. He's now won 5 of 6 up to 1200. Very good on top of the ground. I think he can train on to win a decent race, this horse.
Sees the run. 1-2-96, 44-43. I hate to think what he's run because he was back second last. Look to the
5 there, I think, have all run pretty well in what we were describing at the start of the day as a quasi-Oakley Plate Galaxy race.
Yep.
This form will hold up, I think.
Absolutely. Is some value in the tries. Okay, I'll try and find Gwenda.
Absolutely, Bruce. This is a very good horse, Shadow Waves. He's come here today fresh, off a trot here today, fresh, off a trot.
The main thing, Nash, they're talking about you.
Where's that clown now? Go on!
Nash, you've always had an opinion of this horse, and today he's really proved he's up to the top level.
Yeah, look, he just does some pretty amazing things. You get back on him a long way, and the further you travel through the race, the more confidence you get. And still a bit worried where we were. We're sort of going to need a bit of luck, but finally sort of extracted him out there, got to the outside and a bit of daylight, and his last 100 was very good.
Great way to finish today.
Boys, Newton's Rings, who won.
Filly, now mare.
Getting up in behind these, and then Wahid back behind him. Then as the Oaks winner legs, Pentane second to last, Tintusker last of all the questions about to be answered as they swing and go in the Mudgeway. Christoph found a length. Sea Change after him over on the outside. Darcy Brahma's in a pocket. Kelvin coming down the outside. Christoph, Sea Change trying pretty hard. He's got a bit to do. Darcy Brahma, Sea Change in front. Sea Change, Darcy Brahma trying to gather down, but the advantage is too big, and Sea Change at the line. She's bounced back to her brilliant best. Darcy Brahma.
She sure is back to her brilliant best. Sea Change there, daughter of Cape Cross for Ralph Manning and Gavin McKeon there. Darcy Brahma may have been a little unlucky, but this is a classy mare now. Yeah. Isn't she, Ronnie?
Yeah, she's a beauty. You don't win 7 from 8 unless you've got some ability. That's a Group 1 race there, and she treated him pretty well. And Darcy Brahma's no slouch as well. So.
And he's been very respectable over here when he's come here too, Ron, Darcy Brahma. So it'll stack up.
My word, it will.
Yep. The second horse did... take nothing away from the winner, but the second horse, Darcy Brahma, clipped heels and got into all sorts of strife on the home turn. I will say...
World Cup market.
I think so. Bloke who framed the market's a bad Jones kid.
Big changes here with at the value zipping in the $17. We'll get to it. You can see it there. Error Mine we'll see next week. $6.50 racing to win $8. Changes here. Well, not too many apart from Error Mine tightening up at the top of the markets there. Also from the Cox Plate. We get tomorrow. We'll have them all covered on TVN. I'll take evens at Yates as the top weight, possibly with Graceful for the Melbourne Cup. Head Turner heads the markets at $9. Error Mine at $13. Pentane, who ran in that race we just showed you, was into $15. Torquay.
Thank you, Bruce, and let me tell you, the range certainly turned for the nasty here at Randwick. The range set back in. The favourite is Primus, $2.80. I think that's luxury. On track, a half point shorter. Nemesis, $5.10 is spot on. Storm Hill, $14.60. That is spot on. Binding, she's over a point longer than the $4.70 she is on the tote. Primus, well backed, $2.70 on the tote. Yeah, I'd like to get that. He's
in the tramway. Landloper missed the start by a length and a half, and Primus and Storm Hill jumped out quickly. Flaming from a wide alley is going forward to join them shortly after the start. A couple of lengths to Mart. They've run to the 800, 8 lengths first to last, and it's Storm Hill the leader. Flaming a length and a half away in second spot, and 2 lengths to Primus. Nemeson's right on its back, and about about 3 lengths to Martum. Binding was next from Landloper, and Pateza is back on the rail behind those horses at the 500, and Stormhill under a good hold is the leader from Flaming. Primus is about to pop to the outside and 2 or 3 lengths to Nemesis, and Pateza's cut the corner going to 5th, running past Binding. Into the straight now, and Stormhill in front. Flaming comes up the outside, and now he pops the question to Primus, and Primus with the big strides loomed up on the outside, and the favourite put pay to them quickly. Primus raced to the lead from Stormhill. Flaming between that pair, and a mile back was Nemesis. Primus feeling the weight. Stormhill comes back the inside. Primus hangs on but, and punched out, wins it a neck to Stormhill. A good run first up. Back in 3rd position, Flaming, and then Martum and Landloper, Pateza, Binding, and Nemesis put in a poor run. She's finished last of all.
Bit of class, Primus. He did the job well. He had them covered. And he
to win a Randwick mile, you need to be a good mile and a quarter horse, and he wouldn't necessarily be a Flemington mile and a quarter horse, but I think he'd definitely get round Moonee Valley at 2,000 metres.
Fair enough. That'd be that Cox Plate race, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Well done, mate.
Cheers.
Didn't have much luck as in his 3-year-old campaign in those Guineas races, but he's won 2 straight this time in. Hugh Bowman brings him back. That's a double for Hugh.
I like this horse, Primus, Kenny. 17 into 13 for the Cox Plate. He now added the string to his bow of being a heavy track. He's a winner now. He's going to keep winning, I think.
He's a mile and a quarter horse running in 1,400 metre races. He'll be there on Cox Plate, though. I know Racing to Win's been touted as a stable star for the Cox Plate. Bet you this horse runs in it too.
Could like him. Cox Plate?
Oh, I think he could be, yeah. I particularly liked his 2,000 metre 3-year-old run in the autumn before the Derby, and he's probably one of those 3-year-olds, I think, that has improved as a 4-year-old.
Run through these tape prices in the main race of the day, the Group 2 Chelmsford Stakes. Good as gold, Kenny. Number 1, Error Mine, $2.30 on the TAB. About just over a half point longer on track. It is favourite. 40 cents in front of Desert War. Railings, it's comparable. Replicator, $90, a little bit longer on track. Aquadamore, $13.40, good value there. It's 5 points, Kenny said, about a quarter of a point longer.
Chelmsford, and a great dispatch. Replicator was one of the best into stride. Desert War was hunted out of the gates to go up on the inside of it. Newton's Rings was showing plenty of speed, settling just in behind them. And then Cat's Fun going up on the rail for Meramine. He's a little bit more going up in the centre. It's trying to get on the back of Meramine. 2 or 3 lengths to minute work for him. And Railings whips them in as they get to the 600 in the Chelmsford. And it's Replicator just in front of Desert War. Newton's Rings is travelling up behind them, and then Cat's Fun. He starts to make his move now, and Meramine going away from Allow, and then Aquadamore. Head turner goes up the inside from Grand Zulu, dropping out of it. Desert War's rider went for home as they turn. Newton's Rings comes up the outside. They've run past Replicator. Here comes Meramine down the outside with Aquadamore, but Newton's Rings has surged to the lead at the 200. Beat off Desert War. Meramine was next from Aquadamore, but with about 100 to go, and it's Newton's Rings in front. Meramine is trying to peg him back. Newton's Rings is clinging on as they draw to the line, and Newton's Rings may have just won it from Meramine. Newton's Rings by a nose on Meramine. Photo third, maybe Aquadamore from Desert War, and then came in behind them Head Turner, followed by Railings and Cat's Fun and Men at Work, and then Forum followed by Allow, Grand Zulu, and last in was Replicator.
Wow, what a horse he's been. What a horse he's been, Newton's Rings. And Alan Denham, I'm sure he's lamenting the shortening of the distance of the Chelmsford from 1,600 to 1,550. And what a run he's put in for the spring. He's got there. Meramine has got there, right on the line. Meramine has got him. Number 1, Meramine. Well, what a performance. What a performance. And what a run. What a run for the spring.
Marigo, trained by Alan Denham and ridden by Glenn Boss, making it 4 wins for the day. Here's Ken and Richard. And then
well, the photo did go the way of the favourite. Meramine just wanted to win and stuck its head down. A better horse who's been in great winning form. Newton's Rings, Aquadamore was good, and the 2 Johnny Hawkes gallopers, Head Turner and Railings, absolutely on track for the Caulfield and Melbourne's Cups. But Kenny, at this stage, you would have to say the Cox Plate winner's name will begin with E.
You're Segundo. What about the 3-year-old? Is he running?
Harada Sun?
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be running, but he's in the mix. But
look, Eremine's not fully there yet, no. and he won yesterday on guts and determination. He's a damn good horse, and I'm sure Alan Ben was, over the moon with his win.
Come on, later.
Exactly. I didn't think he'd got there, but he had. And the two horses you mentioned, Railings and Head Turner, I'm sure Johnny Hawkes is ecstatic. Head Turner in the black in the middle and Railings in the white with the black sleeves out deep. Both very nice runs.
We're going to talk to Glenn Boston. Newton's Rings, who's coming from Scone and Musselbrook to take on Australia's best weight for age performer.
Well, it was a fantastic effort. As much as we admire the fact that Eremine's up for the fight, and you really have to admire that in a horse who's all class, but Jeff Engelbrecht has done a terrific job with his horse Newton's Rings. I spoke to him this morning.
Distance on a wet track. He was gallant in defeat. I love the Hawks pair. Railings is coming up beautifully for the Caulfield Cup again, and Head Turner maybe ticking along for the Melbourne Cup. They look great, that pair. They look great.
They got to the line quite well, didn't they? Look, all honest with the winner. They got to the line quite well, didn't they? Look, all honest with the winner, as you said. He's unbeaten on wet tracks now. I think that's 4 for 4. And I think the point you made about his fitness level, I saw him behind the barriers at his first up start. He looked bigger than you.
Yeah.
He was sweating up. He looked shocking. Aquadamore, it's a low horse, that Aquadamore.
She's on her last chance, I think.
Yeah, she sat down the barriers again. She must take so much out of herself by doing it. She sat down, they had to take her out and vet her again. She puts herself in the race, but she just doesn't seem to be able to finish it off now. She's probably a little bit too fizzy in the head, especially when she races in Sydney.
Furious Stakes for 3-year-old fillies, and it's going to be a crackerjack race. Here are the early tote prices. Absolutely Fabulous is a scratching. Zhu Shi is at $4.90, about the same price in the ring. $24.10 Gallant Tess. Touchovers $2 Montmello. She's about 30 cents longer. $7.20 for Just Dancing.
Tuesday Joy gets any luck, she'll be hard. Gunwell Astounded landed a half length in front of the favourite Montmello and Zushi, and Just Dancing away well. My Lady's Chamber going up the outside from coast to the post. Janina taking over at the 800 and kicks away from Astounded, who pops off the fence, and that pushes My Lady's Chamber 3 deep. Behind them Montmello from Just Dancing and Zushi going up the rail. Further back was Tuesday Joy, coast to the post, and Gallant Tess and Heat of the Fire. They start to jam up now at the 600, only about 5 lengths first to last, and it's Janina a half in front of Astounded and My Lady's Chamber. Zushi going up with Montmello. They're going to cut the corner. They'll be the closest to the inside, and Tuesday Joy makes ground deep on the track. It's Janina just in front of Montmello and Zushi. Just Dancing comes right down the outside with Tuesday Joy, but Just Dancing sprinted up to hit the lead now and ran clear at the 200. She's dashed nicely clear from My Lady's Chamber, and then came Gallant Tess, but Just Dancing has certainly beat in midweek, and she's going to take out a Group 2 race today. Just Dancing beat My Lady's Chamber. Third home was Gallant Tess from Tuesday Joy, and then Montmello and Zushi from Yanina. Back behind them, coast to the pub.
Anyone who's got that trifecta, go and look in the real estate guide. You can move into a new home. Well, I must be going crackers. I backed this filly the other day, and I thought that Amatola killed her. Richard was right.
By Just Dancing over My Lady's Chamber, Gallant Tess. 11.
Alongside her name, My Lady's Chamber, Gallant Tess, they were okay, I think. Montmello and Tuesday Joy are the two best fillies out of the race. Graham Begg might have another.
Balloon. And the horse that beat her, Amatola, is a stablemate of Montmello, and I know which one I'd rather have.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, good
result for Graham Begg, though.
Terrific trainer. Look, one of my favourite trainers, as I said yesterday, only got a reasonably small team, and he can get them ready.
Yeah. Well, he's had to do a whole rebuilding.
Said for Graham Begg. A pretty emotional Graham Begg.
But maybe the winner.
Oh, the winner's okay, yeah. The winner's a horse you want to follow. Overall, the form's average, but again, I give...
Take nothing away from this winner.
Is there much to a frame? Can she go on a bit, do you think, Ron?
The winner?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Without a doubt, this is a serious horse, Just Dancing. I looked at both of its first 2 starts, and it probably was a good thing beat second up. That was a serious win there. Even though it got in the best part of the track, it didn't really know what it was doing. There was no sign of fatigue in her action late there. She still held herself together well. No, this is a very, very good horse. Tuesday Joy, the 4th horse, it covered plenty of ground. It sort of made a half mid-race dash. It is a very good horse too. Don't worry about it. Don't underestimate it. Just Dancing and Tuesday Joy, by far the 2 best horses out of that race. Gallant Tess.
Is this Danehill Stakes run for the first time, replacing the Ascot Vale. Interesting race, Sharkbite's favourite, but there's been a move here for number 12. Alamata will get through the mounting yard. Nose band on. The Zupa one, and we'll catch up with Dean Lawson shortly, but Steve, Alamata, interesting that the tote starting to catch up with Alamata.
Yes, it is, Bruce. Although you...
Is up, set to go on the Danehill, and they're racing this time. They bounced away in a good line too. Fugutsu bounced out quickly with Green Birdie, and they're all going to come out to the grandstand rail here. And Cap Hero going very fast with Court and Charlemagne. They're the leaders settling down. from Churchill Downs, and further back Animato, further in Evacuate, followed by Sharkbite, all over Fugutsu. Behind those Evacuate, Animato, further back then Snort, and the one is last of all. Down at the 500 metre mark they race, and the leader off the fence here is Cap Hero from Churchill Downs, Wordsmith, Green Birdie up the middle, Super One not in the race, and then Blue Largo down the outside fence. Cap Hero in front at the 200 metre mark from Churchill Downs, and then Courtin Charlemagne, Animato getting out, and the one coming back to the centre. It's Cap Hero from Wordsmith, and the one getting up on the inside, and here comes Sharkbite and Animato and the one and Animato, the one up the middle. The one may have just beaten Animato, not much in it. Sharkbite third, and I think Snort has flashed home. 2-run fourth in the middle. Then for the back, Blue Largo, Churchill Downs, Green Birdie, Wordsmith.
Wait for the photo here. Animato or the one on the inside, Animato on the outside. There was money for both of these. TAB number 12, the one is $43, and the one's going to get it on the inside. Number 8, the one for Mike Moroney, Greg Childs. We'll see these colours very shortly carried
admission probably
into the Guineas.
He does. He goes for the prelude to the Guineas, so.
Nice horse, well done.
Thank you.
Mike Moroney, might have a chat to part of the finish, and there's plenty of news out of this race. The $130,000 yearling en route to the Caulfield Guineas and the Victoria Derby. Try and go one better than a head turner. We'll carry the same colours last year, or two better. Animato, punter's just missed out here. It was $12 into about $6 on course. Shark admire the performance of the winner, but it was a terrific race.
Yes, it certainly was, Bruce. Lots of good performances, particularly as we'll see the vision again in a moment. Obviously the winner, great effort. Here's the picture. Have a look at Snort in the orange at the back of the picture there. Sharkbite in the purple and white stripes. Now, Sharkbite just won't go here. Then he picks up the bit later. Snort's being held up in the orange colours, and Animato in the familiar Lindsay Park colours, who's running on very strongly. One off the outside fence. Her run's terrific. She's an Oaks contender. Snort was good. Sharkbite was good. The winner was good.
You can see as Animato.
Unlucky and stuff like that. But I tell you what, the winner still got back and still had to run on.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
A dominant performance. Drew barrier 3, had to come across behind the pack, had to switch back into the middle of the track.
Yep.
And look, best horse in the race won, to my eye. Animato will be very competitive in all the fillies races, but the winner was too good.
Yeah, ditto there, Ronnie. Yeah, you know.
Now in $100,000 Craig Lee Stakes. Great theatre in Sydney. What will happen here? Our Smoke and Joe's favourite. There's Roman Arch, the Australian Cup winner, on screen. Greg?
No, I think it's very much on pace, and if he can pass a few, that'll be good.
Serenade Rose, well, just no luck at all, first time out. What do you take away from that performance?
Oh, it was just a bit of a dot ball. Just we think she's still good. We think she's still right there. So today,
Sarge, Craig Lee Stakes.
Yes, Bruce, and we can report on track. There's been some.
Looks to be no defined pace here at all. Set to go, they're racing. And a little bit slow to get going, Serenade Rose, and Roman Arch dropped back, and Zipping Bounce very quickly heading up towards the front. Here's Casual Pass from the outside going up to head it off early. And now Our Smoke and Joe went up third from Segundo, pushing around the outside from above deck, and further back Pompeii Ruler. Casual back in the middle, a length and a half further back Serenade Rose, and Roman Arch is last of all. It'll be a sprint home, and Casual Pass up to the home turn inside the 650. A half Segundo, Zipping third, and Our Smoke and Joe fourth. Further back Pompeii Ruler, followed by Demerger above deck. Seno Fighter went back to the fence, then De Beers, Serenade Rose and Roman Arch last of all. Into the straight at the 450 metre mark. Casual Pass from Segundo. Here comes Our Smoke and Joe to the outside. Up on the fence is Seno Fighter, and down the outside Pompeii Ruler. A few chances across the track. Seno Fighter on the fence has hit the front. Pompeii Ruler after him. Then came Our Smoke and Joe, followed further back by Serenade Rose. Seno Fighter the inside. Pompeii Ruler coming at him on the outside. Seno Fighter and Pompeii Ruler. Pompeii Ruler getting to Seno Fighter from Zipping. Pompeii Ruler too good. Pompeii Ruler a neck on the line, I'd say, to Seno Fighter. Zipping third, then further back might be Segundo staying on for fourth from Our Smoke and Joe. Serenade Rose ran on, followed by Casual Pass to Merger. Roman Arch further back than De Beers, and above deck is last of all.
Well, where does this horse now sit in the scheme of things, Steve? He's only been beaten once in his career. We thought he was a handicapper. He wins the Liston. Only Mahogany and Military Plume have won the Liston and come on and won the Craig Lee. He's nailed Spinner Fighter, was terrific. Zipping was good again. It was a great Craig Lee.
It was a great Craig Lee centre fight, and this is a terrific win. Where does he sit? He probably sits up there with Eremite.
Well, he's should be heading Cox Plate wise. Segundo was good on pace. Zipping was good. So just when the pace quickened it himself again.
He keeps climbing up the ladder, doesn't he? You know, it was a nice race today. The second horse obviously ran fantastic, but Just the way he hit the line. I don't know what his last sort of furlong was, but the good horses do that. You know, they've got the big motors, and we'll probably proceed to the Underwood now and work it out which way we...
And how so? 9.76. The winner 6.80 and 2.30. Second 7.310. Third 6 zipping $2.40.
Stakes. This horse only beaten once in a career of 6 starts. We talk about him being untapped and unproven. Well, he's proven now, but is he perhaps still untapped? Let's go to Craig. Steve, the bottom line is we're looking at one very talented galloper.
Well, I think so, Bruce. The pace wasn't particularly strong in yesterday's Craigley Stakes. Won 3.6 the first 1,000. I think he's a real staying horse in the making, and we can see from these pictures that he doesn't pick up and quicken instantly. He gradually builds momentum in the fashion of a stayer, so the tempo of the race was against him. He kept responding to Craig Newitt, who incidentally is riding particularly well, and he's running away from them at the finish. I think he's a really good horse, Pompeii Ruler. 2 from 2 this time in, winning the 2 weight for age races, coming from relative...
Can you tell me any other Craigley Stakes winner, a 4-year-old, who's won the race at only 6 start? Fabulous effort.
Yeah. Oh, well, certainly not off the top of my head. And
no, but I mean, I'm just trying to put out how good the horse is.
Well, something a bit freakish about him. Possibly running a Caulfield Cup, 51.5 next year. He's out of play. Could he beat Eremine and El Segundo in a Cox Plate?
Well, I don't know, but I think he could win the Caulfield Cup. I don't think there's too much doubt about that with 51.5. Not dissimilar to El Segundo. Him up for a Caulfield Cup, but if he vaguely thinks he can, that's the way I'd go.
He was. Question. But I don't think our Smoking Joe would have been running yesterday if he wasn't fit.
All right. Well, he was second up. He has been beaten about 1.5 lengths. Everybody knows, Lee said from the word go, his mission is the Melbourne Cup. So I don't think anybody went to the races yesterday thinking, well, our Smoking Joe's wound up and ready to go. Here's second up. And I think the other...
there, of course, for Casual Pass he was found to be suffering from the thumps post-race. From it, Pompeii Ruler into $9, equal favourite for the Caulfield Cup, and Spinner Fighter into $17. Zipping, $13 into $11. You couldn't be not impressed with the way this horse is going. Zipping, also out of the race... Pompeii Ruler into $15 for the Cox Plate with Michael Iskander. Steve,
advantage of that.
Serenade Rose, can you take much out of it? Not sure how she's really going.
Oh, no, I think she's going okay. Satisfactory under the circumstances.
Being a bit hard on saying just died on its run. Serenade Rose after missing the kick. I'm not going to give up on it yet. Give it another chance. Look, it missed the kick. I thought that was very, very unfortunate. Zipping, it's been my horse from day one right till now as my Caulfield Cup horse. There is no question about that. It proved yesterday that it can take up a posse. If it happens to draw a gate in the Caulfield Cup, this is going to get the gun run, no question.
Look, how good is the winner? That's the question I want to answer. Are we underrating him? He's had what? He had now 6 starts, 5 wins and a second. He's reached weight for age at 2 runs this preparation. He's dominated. That was as good a performance as we saw all day at Flemington, down the middle part of the track there. He's a really good horse.
Certainly is. I couldn't agree with you more. You cannot underestimate the effort of sitting 3 and 4 wide on a track that favours the insiders. You spoke at the top of the show. Sveno Fighter's coming off an Ipswich Cup win and a second in the Caloundra Cup. Form out of both of those races is not that hot, and it did save a lot of ground. Around about the 700, it and the winner were pretty much equal pegging. One went through the fence, and the other one went 5 and 6 wide. So there was some merit in the run, but it had every possible chance for mine, Sveno Fighter. I'm not convinced.
Flemington with Dr. Nip and Tuck, the 100 raider over Cargo Colt, Belden Oro and Anna's Choice. Belden Oro the favourite at 240. And then down to 780, Dr. Nip and Tuck. And all others, Anna's Choice given a chance at 13 and the others at long odds. So race 8 on the card, due in 5. They're heading up the straight there at Flemington for the 12 quality.
Already jumped in after the start, but Belden Oro flew away from the gate with Volatot and Bomber Bill. Coffee Shop Rumours, and they're all coming out to the grandstand rail. Belden Oro perfectly ready, and also Coffee Shop Rumours, Watch Your Back and Change of Class. They come down with about 7.50 to go, and then Bomber Bill. That's a great race here on the outside. Belden Oro, Watch Your Back, Change of Class, Dainrich. 1.5 lengths perfectly ready, followed by Coffee Shop Rumours, Volatot, Valedictum Classiconi, Cargo Colt, Dr. Nip and Tuck. Then further back, Anna's Choice Choice unabated, and Bomber Bill at the 400 metre mark now. And it's Belden Oro, watch your back, perfectly ready, driving through in the centre. Volatant the outside rail, up the centre, then came Cargo Colt and Dr. Nick and Tuck. It's Volatant on the outside, going up now to Belden Oro, and perfectly ready with 200 to go. They've got clear of Cargo Colt, perfectly ready. Belden Oro and Volatant, Belden Oro and perfectly ready. Belden Oro sticking its head out near the line, and Belden Oro wins it a half neck on the line to perfectly ready. Volatant third, Cargo Colt is fourth. Then further back, Dr. Nip and Tuck, Classiconi. Behind those, Anna's Choice unabated, followed by
Belden Oro gives Craig Newitt a winning treble there today. Wait on the Bobby Lewis. Belden Oro perfectly ready. Volatant and Cargo Colt ran.
All of them very excited. Perfectly ready, back on track. Volatant back on track for Caulfield in a few weeks' time. I don't know, Steve. I've got my doubts about this race. I think second and third, yes, you can follow. After that, well, I'm not sure. A few of these are in sort of limbo for mine.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but I'm going to take it at face value at this point. Belden Oro is a very, very good straight track performer. Perfectly ready as a Group 1 horse. Volatant, 2 runs back, is certainly on song for the Invitation Stakes at Caulfield. His 3 city wins have been the 14.
Final event, the Let's Elope and Walk Alone. At a 100 rating over Doubting, the Let's Elope down to Walk Alone at 5.10, Sorenstam at 9.50, and then further down you've got Speedy Rosser given a chance. Rowaya, can she do it this time? 3.30. She struck a terrible bother last start, and a little money for Valkyrie Diva. That's the final event on the card. Some 7 minutes away. Rowaya is the favourite.
Number 9. Last. Astrodome a bit slow out, and Marju Snip missed it about 2 or 3 lengths, and Be Delicious bounced quickly with Walk Alone and Rowaya. Speedy Rosser further out in the track, and coming from the outside, Lake Charlotte followed by Maxarel. So the pace is nice and hot early. It's Lake Charlotte going up to Be Snip, followed by Kimura, and last of all is Sorenstam. 800 metres to go. Be Delicious the inside, and Lake Charlotte 2 in front of Speedy Rosser. Rowaya fourth the fence, then Maxarel. Walk Alone further back from Dynamite Deep, then Astrodome on the inside. Further back Professional Lady, followed by Valkyrie Diva, then Doubting, followed by Bruges. Well back Celtic Bloom, Marju Snip and Kimura, and last of all is Sorenstam. On the turn, Be Delicious, Lake Charlotte outside it. Now he goes for the run on the fence on Rowaya. She got up on the inside to go up and join them. 2 lengths, Speedy Rosser, Maxarel. Walk Alone about to peel out, but Rowaya got the short cut up on the inside, hit the front now from Be Delicious. 2 or 3, Speedy Rosser, Celtic Bloom, Astrodome. Then Walk Alone getting out, but Rowaya hasn't gone around a horse, and this favourite's home in the last. Rowaya steaming away from Be Delicious, Celtic Bloom running on, but Rowaya canters home, makes up for Caulfield, wins 3 lengths to either Be Delicious or Celtic Bloom who ran on. Fourth home in the race would have been Astrodome from Marju Snip, Walk Alone.
15, 14 and 11. Great day of race.
Of course, Spielmeister, Be Delicious on pace. Celtic Bloom's going well. After the race...
Dream run. Dwayne shows his...
But you've got to listen to the master trainer.
Well, it's a stunning call, really, isn't it? Better than Miss Finland, better than some of these...
I didn't say better. As good a horse.
As good as, yeah. Look, she's a very good mare, but yesterday, 53 minimum in the set weights and penalties race, run of race, pace and pattern to suit, leader shifts off the fence to present the run.
Steve, you potted yesterday.
Look, a wonderful confident booster for a horse like Rowaya. We all know what happened to it last time, and I suppose going into the last race, the way the track was playing, you didn't want to be on anything else, I guarantee you that. Be Delicious, I thought, was very good. Second up again.
Your Cup.
Barriers 1, 2 and 3. Hard race to read.
And 4.
And 4, was it?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I didn't go back that far.
I want to know why Scotty Seamer left the fence on the leader. What was the point in leaving the rail? The inside place was the perfect place to be. He left place was the perfect...
Few of them just raced off.
Yeah, but it was pointless. That wasn't
I
the place.
agree.
Let's follow the leader.
It was ridiculous. He could come off the fence. I would have beat him in the bum if he was riding for me.
Made no difference.
I couldn't agree more. But why do it? Yeah. Why do it and give me something to whinge about?
Well, we don't want to do that. Let's have a look at the
$9 zipping into 11. And we won't even ask Steve Moran because he just doesn't believe in pre-post betting, do you, Steve?
No, I don't, Bruce.
OK, so I want to ask you, Kent.
Bruce, considering...
Executioner, Sulacra and Co. But here's the Cox Plate market after racing action yesterday from Michael Iskander. El Segundo 450, Eremine in, 7s into 5s. Harada Sun, Titans again without racing, 10s into 9s, racing to win $11. Primus into $13. Pompeii Ruler, Titans into 15. Aqua. Imperial Stride, you see there at $21, $67 taken on Friday. You punted back this horse to win $200,000 with Michael Iskander. It's a sign that Godolphin are...
The scene in Japan, well, it's a bit similar to what we've had in Sydney lately, Richard.
Yeah, the same over there for the Centaur Stakes in Japan. Really coming down in bucket loads there. So let's have a look at the latest betting, just running down them here. MS World, one of the roughies, down to Golden Cast, last year's winner, paying 25. We're not going to be too far away from action here. We've got a couple of roughies, then down to the big one, Takeover Target. Fingers crossed for the great Aussie sprinter on his world travels. Jay Ford, of course, on board, paying $2.20 now, just easing slightly. 15 and 60 quickly. Good luck, Takeover Target, as we cross over for commentary.
Half an hour. Set to go. Racing, and she is Tosho from 18 pinged nicely. On the inside, Mayshow Bowler began well, as did Gallant Arrow. Cosmo Fortune out wide, and mustering speed is Win Legend. While she is Tosho is elected to drop just in behind them, and taking the lead is Takeover Target. Takeover Target goes to the front. On its outside, Win Legend. Back on the fence. In the middle is Setters Dynamic. A gap further back to on the outside of it, moving quickly up forward now. In fact, tailing off is Marika Koseki, and out even wider, running on now is Kingland Swan and Dynamic Set as they get down with 300 metres to go. Takeover Target in front. Takeover Target just goes past them, and Join on the outside, running on nicely as She's Tosho. 200 metres to run. It's Takeover Target, but She Is Tosho is sweeping up to them. She Is Tosho races away. She Is Tosho goes on and wins by 3 from Takeover Target. Tight was third. Native Heart, late Marika Koseki. In the middle there was Limitless Bid, not far away. Precious Cafe. Lord Ultimate didn't run on. Setters Dynamic was well away. Gallant Arrow faded in the straight. And one of the last runs pulling up was Asian Hebe.
Well, it's been a great effort by Takeover Target. This was the horse touted as being the main danger, the filly. She smashed the track record back in May. She ran third in the Canine, and, well, she's given...
Melbourne Cup favourite Yates has been scratched from a planned trip down under. The top weight for the Cup was ruled out of a Flemington start after his disappointing second placing in the Irish St Ledger on the weekend. Connections still remain hopeful Yates will race in the Cup next year. Another major blow for Melbourne's Spring Racing Carnival. A day after one-time Cup favourite Yates was scratched, Australia's hottest young racehorse, Harada Sun, is out. The Tony Vasil-trained 3-year-old was today diagnosed with a fractured bone in a leg after pulling up sore from a gallop at Caulfield last Saturday. X-rays were taken this morning.
They were followed...
Because it just forces to give him more time, and he'll come back a more mature horse, and...
Trains, and he is the favourite, Richie, for the Spring Stakes.
Yeah, very short, isn't he, Rusty? $1.70. I think the flux on track, he's about 5 to 4 into evens.
Yeah, about that. He's just getting out now to around about the...
They're racing. Jumped in a nice manner. And the early lead at Taranabar, Magic Jet, is going up to have a shot at Taranabar. Delago missed in the third posse, followed by Love You Leo, and then comes Miras on the inside. Further back is Excites and Just Mambo wide and last. Magic Jet, a clear leader, settling into stride now. Mambo and Excites. Well, where's Excites got to? Now, as they come along past the 550 and wend their way around the corner, and here the leader is Magic Jet. It's about 3/4 of a length in front from Delago Mist, followed by Taranabar, then Get Square, Love You Leo, Miras having a bumping duel, and then Just Mambo, and Excites is out of it. They race along past the 300, and the leader on the inside is Magic Jet. Here's Miras on the outside, gobbling it up though. Beedman pulls the whip, and Miras quickly shot past Magic Jet, followed by Taranabar. But this promising youngster, Miras, races home to win the Spring Stakes. Miras from Magic Jet, Taranabar, Delago missed Just Mambo. And the last couple in were Get Square in company there with Love You Leo. And Excites has pulled out of the race, coming onto the side of the track.
Bowman had to take a hold and let the other one get around him, but all honours with the winner, Miras. I bet you're happy taking 5 to 2 when the
winner over Magic Jet, Taranabar third. Now we're going to see the stewards' footage here. I'll tell you what would have made the race a little bit more interesting is Just Mambo.
Yeah, look.
Excites. Look at this. There he is.
Look, he's got a
right,
and he's carted Just Mambo out of the race.
Right, yeah, and Mambo. It was a huge run, Just Mambo.
Yeah, forget he ever ran, but Excites is... I believe he's now changed stables. He's gone from the Guy Walter stable to Paul Perry.
Jeez,
Yeah. Hutter Star Motors Cameron Handicap, 1400. Courts in session at $3.10. On track is $1 better than that. Number 2 is Malcolm, $2.30. It's 20 cents longer than that on track.
Max Tune just the early leader from Courts in Session. Third posse is taken by Tall Timbers, and going around them the Free Stater with Flaming and Gorgonite. It's keen early, and Malcolm's not far back last. They run onto the first corner. Gorgonite racing Courts in Session. Courts in Session fired up. He's 3/4 Gorgonite, 2 to Flaming, a length and 500 left to gallop, and the top weight Courts in Session. Burden with his 60.5 kgs, he swings. A length and a half clear on Gorgonite, followed by Flaming, Tall Timbers. Behind those Max Tune. Malcolm trying to get into the open. The Free Staters keeping him locked up. Down past the 200, and Courts in Session under siege. Malcolm got the split, and in the twinkling of an eye, Malcolm raced up to Courts in Session. The Free Stater on the outside. He won't give in. Courts in Session. Malcolm trying valiantly to pick him up. Courts in Session. He's too good. A mighty effort. Courts in Session, I reckon, from Malcolm. There won't be much in it, with Max Tune prominent for third, and then Tall Timbers followed home then by the Free Stater. Third one, Courts in Session, Danny Beasley. 2 Malcolm, Darren Binks to over $2 million. He scored by half a head with 2 1/4 left.
Can't fight. You want Courts in Session behind you. He just won't give in. He's a superstar. He's
what other superlatives can you use?
How much did he carry? 60
and a half.
What a fabulous effort.
He was under siege.
Malcolm had him. Malcolm had him cold and couldn't get past him.
Now look, he was pressured by Gorgonite early. He thrives on a fight anyway. But he was going to get him, Malcolm. He was going to get him, and then he caught him in the corner of his eye, and he dug in.
He's a great...
What a wonderful old horse. He goes in to the middle of the lineup, and St. Alessio will be the last. The outside gate. St. Alessio's in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're ready. The Tui's new. Newcastle Gold Cup, the 100th running. Line good. They're off. And then comes Exonite, followed by Bicky Tin Blues over on the insiders. Look out, 1.5 gaze on. Then Respect deeper out, followed on the inside next by Trinity Song, who lost a little ground. Dusty Flyer, Brave Lance, a fair trial. And then comes Renoki and St. Alessio's last. They're homeward bound in the 100th running of the Newcastle Gold Cup, and Corral Boy the leader. Exonite wider out, followed by Crossbar getting through. Bling Bling dropping off, and Bicky Tin Blues is coming home well. Exonite wide out. Bicky Tin Blues grabbed Corral Boy from County Tyrone, and Crossbar there right across the track. Bicky Tin Blues and Exonite from Old County Tyrone. Bicky Tin Blues running about all over the track, but the rejuvenated old fella wins the cup. Bicky Tin Blues has beaten Exonite and Respect, followed home by Fair Trail, County Tyrone, Gaze on, Crossbar, Look Out, and brought up the rear. Bicky Tin Blues, Brad Pengelly. Got a touch of the wobbles in the straight, but all music. Ray Pengelly, and that is Bicky Tin Blues' 6th consecutive win. And overall, 9 wins from 38 starts. Lightly raced 8-year-old, he has done nothing but improve since going into the Queensland stables of Brian Smith.
Bicky Tin Blues, remarkable story. He won number 3. 260 and 160, 14 Exonite.
Gorgeous old thing, old Bicky Tin Blues improved out of sight. He's been beautifully placed and was beautifully placed here again.
Beautifully ridden too.
He was, and that was an ordinary Newcastle Cup field, but beautifully placed. You can only place him where they can win, and he's won. I wouldn't be taking short odds about him in the Metro if he runs in it, though, would you, Ronnie?
No, I wouldn't, but beautiful ride by Pengelly. I thought Exonite.
Sydney, it's one of the big races. Well, it's the big race of the day. It's the Ridges Parramatta Group 2 Theo Mark Stakes, the 61st Paratroopers.
Yeah, what a fine horse he is. He's a Group 1 winner. He's had 1 run since...
$2.70 on the tote Paratroopers. He's a half point longer with the bookmakers. Number 2, Racing to Win, $2.30 the tote. Only a little bit longer on track, 10 cents or so. Glenn Boss for Johnny O'Shea. This bloke finished his campaign last. Number 1, Paratroopers, $2.60 the tote. Let me tell you, on track about 80 cents longer with the bookies. 2, Racing to Win, $2.30. Marginally shorter on track.
And Resistor broke very quickly from the inside, so too did Undue, and he's driving forward on Paratroopers from that wide alley. He's going up to second, and it looks like he's going to get over fairly easily. So it's Undue in front. Paratroopers lobbed straight outside the lead, and now Fox Lake is racing around them to go to the front. Further back was Regal Cheer. She's Fox Lake the leader by a length and a half. Paratroopers is running second. Undue back on the inside is third, and Regal Cheer, the mare, settles in 4th spot, followed by New Edge, and then came Woodson. Racing to Win is starting to pick up some ground, followed by Resistor, and further back was Smart Maxi, Toulouse-Lautrec and October Sun. Into the straight and the Theo Marks, and it's Fox Lake in front. Beedman is starting to bring Paratroopers with his run on the outside. Racing to Win is getting into the clear, and he's coming down the outside, and Regal Tree between that pair. Down to the 200, it's Paratroopers in front. Here comes Racing to Win. He's exploding on the scene. Racing to Win went straight past them now at the 100 from Regal Cheer. New Edge is running on late, but Boss has a look around, and Racing to Win trots it in. New Edge got second, Regal Cheer third, Paratroopers fourth, and then came Woodson and Fox Lake and Undue. Further back behind them was Smart Maxi, and then came Resistor, October Sun, and last in was Toulouse-Lautrec.
I don't know what they were all talking about the Fian Stakes in Melbourne if they're worrying about the Cox Plate. Fellas, don't worry too much about Lad of the Manor. Worry up. A 4-year-old. Bossy said, where have they got to? John O'Shea has got no doubt we'll see the best of the horse when he gets to 2,000 metres. That was 1,300 metres. He's already won at 1,600, the furthest he's been extended.
And here comes
400 to the 200. He broke 10. He seemed to do it with so much ease. I actually thought I got there too soon, because I thought, well, I better get going because Paratroopers, I know he's such a great racehorse. And to my surprise, I just cantered up to him, but he's an awesome horse. He's just got so much ahead of him.
He was awesome in winning the Theo Marks, sponsored by our great sponsors here, the Ridges Hotel. We're going back to Melbourne. Bruce
galloped on behind in the off-hind leg. Glenn Moss
blinkers. When he lets go, when he's not going past third raters, he's going past Regal Cheer and Paratroopers, two top-line horses. He went from 4 bounds, a length and a half behind them, to alongside them in 4 bounds, and then just left them standing. This is a race, the Theo Marks, that undoes horses with big weights. Grand Army, Shogun Lodge, plenty of horses in recent years, although Shogun Lodge did win one, have carried big weights and been beaten. They can't give the 6 and 7 kilos to the horses with lighter weights over the 1,300 metres around Rose Hill. This horse had no problem. He had 50...
The New Edge, Regal Cheer, that was a dominant performance.
He's always been a serious racehorse, this horse, there's no doubt about that, but he took another step there yesterday. I mean, the race was set up for him in relation to the pace and that, and he got the perfect run, got out and did get into the best part of the track, but gee whiz, that was a dominant win. He could trouble Eremine in the Cox Plate, this horse. He's improved and improved. I thought, well.
What do you think?
Oh, look, he's outstanding, this horse. He is absolutely outstanding.
You think he can beat Eremine?
Oh, I'm not saying he can't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he can't. Glenn Boss rides both of them. I think he'll stick with Eremine because there's always the backup angle of the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, this is a racehorse. This is a racehorse. And I agree, that New Edge is an underrated horse. And Paratroopers got galloped on there by Fox Lake. So maybe that may have affected his performance because straight...
Yeah, thanks very much, Rich. Runners in the yard here. Field of 7 to go for the Dutto Tan. Chindam Stakes, Group 2 level, weight for age. Great lead up to the Cox Plate. And will some of these be getting there? I'm sure they will. There's the totes. TAB number 3, Apache Cat. You can see 2:30, 2:10, 2:10. That was the 2-minute warning siren go.
Left out in a good line too. One of the first out, Red Dazzler from Spielmeister, and going forward on the outside here is Apache Cat from Fields of Omar. Lad of the Manor followed by Spinny and Testifiable last of all. Apache Cat heading up towards the front here from Red Dazzler and Fields of Omar going up third. Spiel coming up the side of the 850. Apache Cat just over a length to Fields of Omar and Red Dazzler. A length and a half Spielmeister fourth, fifth Lad of the Manor in sixth placing Spinny and 2 to Testifiable. Coming in towards the 650 metre mark, and the leader still Apache Cat. 3/4 in front of Fields of Omar, and Spielmeister came out 3 deep. Red Dazzler held up on the fence. Spinny pulled to the outside from Lad of the Manor, and further back Testifiable. On the turn, Apache Cat in front. Fields of Omar under pressure. Red Dazzler getting out from further out. Spinny when they turn for home. Around the bend, Apache Cat in front of Spinny. Fields of Omar and Red Dazzler. Apache Cat a length in front. Spinny coming after him. Then Fields of Omar, he got tightened up, and Lad of the Manor coming down the outside. Apache Cat in front. Lad of the Manor is starting to peg him back. Apache Cat just in front. They hit the line. Lad of the Manor dived. Nothing in this. Lad of the Manor and Apache Cat in a great finish. 2 away. Third is either the inside Red Dazzler or Spinny. Then Fields of Omar tightened up in the straight from Spielmeister. And last of all is Testifiable. This is very, very close.
Well done. Lad of the Manor will win this on the outside. Roger Hoyce there. What a training performance this is.
to get this horse back to win his second Fian Stakes. It's a fantastic effort. He was gone this preparation after his setbacks. He was very average in the match.
It certainly does, yeah.
You said you were playing catch-up in the last couple of weeks. Now that you've won, where does that put you?
Back on track.
Well done, Roger.
Thank you.
Roger Hoist.
Good effort. Real dug deep, last 50 metres. Found plenty. I could feel him pin his...
Apache Cat, favourite, every chance second. Spinny ran well. Lad of the Manor, $21 into $7 with Michael Iskander now for the Cox Plate. Of course, he missed the listing with a setback. He's running the Memsy was just. And we spoke to, of course, Roger Hoyt. Right back on track.
Well, he absolutely is, Bruce. He's won 5 of 6, of course, at Moonee Valley now, and arguably should have won the Cox Plate last year to be 6 from 6. So he's been a great performer. Now, I'll have to admit, yesterday morning, if you'd asked me what horse don't you really fancy at the Valley today, I would have said Lad of the Manor, only because he's a horse who's never run a bad race in his life. We see him now running down Apache Cat on screen, and last start he did, and I thought, well, he can't have proved enough off a career worst to win, but Roger Hoisted's got him right. Well done to him, well done to all the people involved with the horse, and he's just a tremendously genuine, admirable. He's an...
Took it on, I thought it was too disappointing first up, after a setback. Look, the time tells it all. It had to run the time to win. You know, they've run a record. I thought Apache Cat was still very, very game. You know, there was some speculation around that Noel may have gone a little bit too early. Well, I'm just... The winner had to really put in. I thought Spinny's effort was good. I thought Red Dazzler was absolutely pathetic. He's really been a nice horse to me, but just fails. I thought he had every conceivable chance. I thought he was weak, and I really can't say much about anything else.
Just maybe the month between races, Mick Price was thinking that it may have been just a little bit soft going in to yet.
At every hope, the winner was too good. He's back on the Cox Plate path there. There's no doubt about it. I like Spinny because he was the one that had to chase, and he brought Lad of the Manor into the race. I think there's a Group 2 win in Spinny somewhere.
Tempo-wise, Apache Cat was suited, wasn't it?
Oh, look, I thought he rated him beautifully.
Yeah.
I think that course record...
Solid. Brockman's last okay, and Purdy, a little rally for it late.
Yeah, a little nibble for Purdy late. Perfect Promise has just pushed out to where she was.
Solid. Brockman's last okay, and Purdy, a little rally for it late.
Yeah, a little nibble for Purdy late. Perfect Promise has just pushed out to where she was on Super Tab. It's about level now. She'll
takes a Group 2 level for the mares. Now sponsored.
Left in a pretty good line too. Purdy got back after the start with Dies Angel. Star Casey, Lotto Rock, Soleil, Perfect Promise and Pine Zero from the outside on the move. Belbazere pushing up in the Celia length in front of Belbazere. 2.5 further back, Star Casey third. Fourth is Soleil, Lotto Rock the fence from Brindabella. Then Perfect Promise out wider. Further back in the race then Rule and Ruby. Matras in the middle, Regal Summer, followed by Brockman's Lass, who's got a big job from there from Astrodome. Then Dies Angel, Celtic Bloom and Purdy on the fence last of all. Belbazere hit the front from Pine Zero on the turn. Race to length in front, then Star Casey, Brindabella, Perfect Promise and Brockman's Lass to the outside are starting to charge home. Around the turn, Belbazere in front. Astrodome up the middle and down the outside, Brockman's Lass. Astrodome hit the lead now from Belbazere. Brockman's Lass is wider out. Astrodome in front of Brockman's Lass. Astrodame's going to break through today. Astrodame. A neck on the line to Brockman's Lass. Belbazere third, then Rule and Ruby. Celtic Bloom followed by Regal Summer. Star Casey, Dies Angel, Purdy has run last.
It's a very important result for Daniel Moore to win this race at Group 2 level as an apprentice. Astrodame finally breaks through at the stakes level, 27.20 and 6.50.
You know, they're great to me. Honours, you know, they're great to me. You know, they're great to me. It'd be exceptionally good outright McLean, but this is just absolute icing on the cake.
1.5 Melbourne and being part of the Tattersalls Cox Plate. The first Group 1 race of the season, though, is about to go, and I thought we'd catch up with something a bit different here. We're going to catch up with David Mueller, former trainer and part owner of Miss Andretti, who now races the horse with Sean Buckley before we look at the mounting yard. Well, David, a bit different scenario for you these days, isn't it? You can let sit back and let leave 129.8 in the previous. So, track firm. And that's certainly a key factor here. Dance Hero 820. The tote move has clearly been number 5, the SAS B. 4/5, it's around 5.50 on course.
Yeah, it hasn't been an active...
Ready goes into line. And she'll run the favourite. Racing Out in a good line too. Amy J. Power, Shadow Ways went back after the start. Crimson Rain, Dance Hero, Magnus and All Bar One began brilliantly. With those as Mustard further out, Miss Andretti. She has to ease back there with the speed in front as All Bar One burning off Dance Hero for the lead from Crimson Rain, California. To Amy J. Power and Shadow Ways at the 600 up the side. All Bar One by a length now. Two Dance Heroes second. Then came Magnus third. Crimson Rain fourth. Fifth of the race, California Dane. Miss Andretti starting to work into it from Saspy. What's the Mail? Then Chablet followed by Mustard. A gap magically Amy J. Power and Shadow Ways last of all. Dance Hero strides to All Bar One, who's struggling on the turn. Magnus further out and Miss Andretti coming with a run from California Dane. Dance Hero first for home, but Miss Andretti sweeps it on the outside. Miss Andretti took the lead from Dance Hero. Magnus and then Saspy from Shadow Ways, but Miss Andretti in front of Dance Hero fighting back, but Miss Andretti too good. Wins it a half length on the line to Dance Hero, Saspy third, Shadow Ways from last ran fourth. Then further back Magnus, a gap then to California Dane, Chablet, Amy J. Power. Then Crimson Rain, What's the Mail, Magically followed by Mustard, and last of all Bar One.
If you're betting in the run, that was the one you wanted to be on. They've run a course record, 192. She just stalked the pace, trucked into it. Dance Hero was terrific on pace. Zaspie ran on well again, but
the 600-metre mark, but I tell you what, you could have had the proverbial house on her.
She's a winner, isn't she? She just wants to win her races.
But she's a great mare because she's used to those fast tempo races, and that she just sat off that leading group, and you could tell probably past the school that she was going to be the one to beat because she was just jogging behind them, you know.
I'll be right in the race, and I didn't realise until now they broke the course record, but as soon as she got cover, I knew she'd have a real good turn of foot at the end, and she travelled up to him so easy on the corner and put pay to him pretty quick.
It's been a great... I guess the sweetener for him is that he's in the horse still as a part owner, so that's great.
And Craig Newitt loved another Group 1 for his old boss, Miss Andretti, beating Dance Hero and Zaspie, of course. Look, we went into the race thinking it wasn't a legitimate Group 1 race, but we've got a legitimate Group 1 horse, I think, coming out of it.
I think so, Bruce. I mean, that's a fair comment too. They've moved this race a little later in the season now. Yesterday's lineup was probably not bristling with Group 1 performers. I think the key part of the race is they've run 34 seconds for the first 600 from the standing start. Now, that's 2 seconds quicker than in the two other 1,200-metre races, which is 12 lengths. So look at Dance Hero inside the winner. He pushed up early. He was the first to chase the leaders. His run's been terrific. Your only worry might be whether it flattens him.
She passes the $500,000 prize money mark now. First up, Running in McEwen stamped her as the horse to beat heading into the Manikato. She was primed for that. She had a win at the track, as I said, first up. And she's a super mare. Her form behind Takeover Target and Schnitzel and those horses. She won far away last time in. So she's a super horse. I thought Magnus ran pretty well. He was 3 deep for the entire. And Dan Hero, well, he was very honest indeed. Shadow Ways got back, found a little bit of traffic. He hit the line well when he steps up to the 1,200 and the 1,400. He's going to win a nice race, this horse. I like the way he went about his business, but she's just...